Discovery, go at throttle up.
Hello. Did you miss me? I'm back. I'm back, chat. Oh, hey, Das. What's new with you? Oh, hey, man. Can I smell that? No, drummer didn't fart. Not today, at least. Here, you might want to... Look at that. I was told to be here at 5:30 by somebody by a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy that knows a guy. And... oh... These fine folks over at NASA Spaceflight have brought us some SLS core stage offloading footage. Huh. Ooh. Well, that doesn't suck. So what you're looking at here is the turning basin at KSC. The turning basin here. Let me load up the goggle maps. The turning basin at KSC is how they deliver the large stages that the VAB has used over, well, since it was built. That's how they deliver anything that's oversized. So during the Apollo program, they used it to deliver Saturn V first and second stages, and then into the shuttle program, they used it to deliver external tanks. And now, for the Artemis program, you're seeing it deliver core stage 1. So if we're looking at KSC right here in Florida, the turning basin is at the end of this channel right here. The channel goes all the way around here and stops right there. This is where every single Saturn V first and second stage have been offloaded. Every single shuttle external tank that ever flew got offloaded here at the turning basin. And now the first SLS core stage is going to get offloaded and moved into the VAB's transfer aisle. The transfer aisle at the VAB is basically, you see this hallway right here? That's the transfer aisle. The transfer aisle is basically a long open corridor that goes from here all the way to the end of the VAB. The transfer aisle is used for moving stages it's used for moving and storing stages here and taking them from the turning basin and then putting them inside of one of 4 high bays inside of the VAB. There's high bay 1, 2, 3, and 4. Now the core stage tonight is only being rolled into the transfer aisle. But it will eventually be loaded in high bay 3 onto the SLS mobile launcher with the 2 5-segment SRBs, and then eventually will be stacked with the launch vehicle staging adapter, and then crowned with a interim cryogenic propulsion stage, which is a Hydrolox upper stage that's derived from Delta 4, and then an Orion capsule on top of that for the Artemis 1 mission. It's 5 a.m. Do you know where your kids are? Yes. So, NASA Spaceflight, as always, is kind enough to let us restream the footage here. Das is floating around somewhere. I think he was in here. He's got the Das heart. He's floating around and he's hosting the cast here with Chris G and who's... I don't know if Das has the stream open. I think he definitely doesn't have the audio open. But I think Phil is out there too. I'm not sure if it's Phil Sloss. Tonight, this morning, yeah, something like that. Wait, will we see the sunrise? It's much too early down there in Florida. Bling, the sun is coming up here in Massachusetts. It's going to take a while for the sun to come up. They're a couple hours. They're an hour away at least from sunrise. Florida is a lot further west than Massachusetts is. It's light out right now. The sun came up already. Hey, Chief, what's going on? Yeah, Florida, the sun comes up pretty late. It's pretty far into the Eastern time zone. And also, because of the Earth's axial tilt, the way the sun kind of comes over in the spring and summertime, it kind of comes from the northeast, I guess. It comes from up here. Like the sun, the date line goes, because the Earth's like this, the date line goes across like that. So it's going to hit me first. I mean, like I said, let me just open my window here. Yeah, the sun's already up. It's already light out here. It's dawn, don't get me wrong. The sun isn't like up in the sky, but it's definitely light out. Twilight has been at around 6 a.m. to 6:30 lately. Yeah, it's twilight right here. It's twilight here. The sun has been up it's been light outside for like 15 minutes here already. Did you sleep at all? What sleep? No, I didn't. Well, I went to. I was in bed. Does that help? Same here. Never really thought about it. 45 minutes before we get sunrise here in Michigan. Yeah, the sun's already out here in Boston, man. Well, like I said, it's light out. You could drive around with your headlights off, and it's not a big deal right now. You want to see the big thing offload, right? Yeah, that's right. How come so early for you? They're going to roll the SLS core stage off of Pegasus, off of the barge chief, and they're going to roll it into the VAB's transfer aisle. But is Orange Rocket really good? Yes, yes. What was I saying? But is Orange Rocket really good? Orange Rocket is nice. Can we just... I forgot. I lost my train of thought, but... Oh, yeah. No, I was in bed, Phil. I didn't sleep, but I was in bed. Does that help? What did I do? Oh, yeah. That's what I was going to say. I got a message from somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody that said that I should be around here at 5:30. And I got that when I logged off. Got it from a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy that says you should be here at 5:30. And I'm like, huh? Okay. Why you do this right now? No, I'm not having fresh pots right now, dudes. I'm going back to sleep after this. I gotta get some sleep. Hey, Mutter, 68-month resub. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. So, I mean, let's just take a second and look at these dudes standing next to the SLS core stage, right? They look like Oompa Loompas next to that thing, man. That's right, Nuggets. Das? No, Das didn't tell me. No, I was told by someone. Not someone that the actual person that's in it. No, I was told by a guy who knows a guy who knows a guy. Understand? I know a guy who knows a guy who went to the doctor once. He said it was horrible. Wasn't for the long time to be going to the beach right now. 85 and no cloud in the sky. It's noontime here. Oof. Why are they doing this at 5 a.m.? You know what, Zelter? I don't know. I don't know. I do not know why they are moving this sucker right now, but that's why they're doing it. To keep it covert. Yeah, about that. Incoming weather? Maybe. Maybe.
Stage, which is a modified Delta 4 second stage. So they'll put the launch vehicle stage adapter, that's the adapter cone, and they'll put the ICPS on top of that, and then they'll put an Orion simulator on top of that. And while they're doing the stacking, they'll also be connecting all the cables between the core stage and the booster, and the core stage and the ICPS. And they'll also be doing some thermal protection work. And we'll probably, as the sun comes up, you'll see that the back end of the core stage is still a little toasty from the test firing that they did.
Привет, my pig.
Yeah, just like SpaceX doesn't clean their.
Hey, Vasi. Привет. So when is the rocket fully going to be assembled? Well, that's what Phil was talking about here. I think that was Phil. I'm pretty sure that was Phil Sloss. So SLS is comprised of a couple of different components here. Let me just find a good render floating around here. Oh dear. Nope, no incoming weather concerns. Oh, okay. Here's a good image from NASA here. So SLS is comprised of a couple of different stages here. It's a stage and a half to orbit. So basically anything above this blue tank right here, that's the oxidizer tank, is going to get up into space. Now, Caplish, before I say, when I think they're going to get it assembled, I'm going to lay out all the components here. So you have two 5-segment boosters on either side, 5-segment solid rocket boosters, which are an extra segment bigger than the ones that are on the space shuttle. And each of the boosters are mated to something that looks somewhat like the space shuttle's external tank here. But instead of an external tank with a pointy nose cone and a shuttle hanging off the side, we have an interim cryogenic propulsion stage sitting on top, and then Orion and a European service module sitting on top of that. Now, at the bottom of the core stage, you have 4 RS-25s. Those are the RS-25s you see in the NASA spaceflight video right there. And the 2 SRBs, obviously. Now, once again, this is stage and a half into orbit. Anything above this gets into space. Anything, see where this cone is? Anything from here up is the payload. That's so the ICPS, even though it's stacked on top of the core stage, that's technically a third stage. The idea is that for the Artemis 1 mission, this will shoot the Orion capsule out to what's called a distant retrograde orbit around the moon, which is a retrograde orbit that's designed to keep Orion out there for a good period of time to make sure that Orion is capable of being a deep space storable capsule for long duration missions. I.e., no people aboard, you store it somewhere like, oh, I don't know, on the side of a spaceship for a Mars transfer, right? And you leave it there until you come back from Mars or something. The Artemis 1 mission is designed to test long duration capability of the Orion spacecraft in the uncrewed configuration. Now, when is this going to be stacked? Well, they're getting ready to roll that core stage out right now. I'm not sure exactly what this JLG lift is carrying right there, but I can't really see it. Have you been up all night? Yeah, of course. So no return for Orion. No, it's coming back, Chief. It'll come back. They'll bring it back. It'll jettison the service module, and it will come back, and then the U.S. Navy will go and pick it up. So, when do I think this booster is going to get stacked? Well, I think that there is some refurbishment work that does need to be done to the core stage still. Just a couple of things here and there. Like taking the tape off and fixing the burn mark. The bottom of the booster isn't black. That's burn marks from the green run test. So, they got to do some minor refurbishments inside of the VAB, and then they'll probably test picking the thing up a couple of times and putting it back down, just to make sure that they understand how that works, and then they'll throw that thing right onto the mobile launcher. Now, once it's on the mobile launcher, they're probably going to do a lot more testing, and then they're probably going to test putting the LVSA on a couple of times, and then they're going to test putting the upper stage on it a couple of times, testing all the umbilicals and everything. I think this thing will probably be fully assembled by the summer. Now, keep in mind, guys, this is the first time an SLS rocket is going to be entirely put together. The good news is that all those parts that I said in that infographic there from NASA are at the Cape. They're at KSC. This is the last part of the puzzle. They look like Rhino engines to you. This will all be put together sooner rather than later because all the parts are there. The ICPS upper stage has been there since 2017, believe it or not. It's been there for a long time. The Orion capsule, it was, of course, made at KSC down the road. And the European Service Module was made over in France. I believe it was Kness that made that. And it's derived from the automated transfer vehicle that the European Space Agency flew. And that was delivered a little while back. Actually, the second one is down the road from this, by the way. Yeah, J-fans, that's SLS. That's core stage 1. It's at the VAB, dude. They're going to take it out of the Pegasus barge, and they're going to roll it over to the VAB. At the very beginning of this stream, Chris did pan the camera. Check it out. They are building core stage 2 right now, Rogue. Actually, core stage 2 is about 40% complete right now. They're doing the forward join on core stage 2, which is attaching the inner tank, liquid oxygen tank, and forward skirt. So Chris is on the operations and support building, OSB 2. You might recognize this view. During the Crew 2 mission, they had NASA's social media person standing basically where this camera is. And if you look inside of the VAB right there, that's the transfer aisle. They're going to wheel that SLS stage in there, and then they're going to shut the door. And then it'll eventually find its way into High Bay 3. High Bay 3, if we look at... So Chris is right here. He's on the balcony at OSB 2, Operations and Support Building 2. And the core stage is right there. And they're going to roll the core stage here. They're going to roll it that way. And then they're going to roll it into the transfer aisle. And because this camera's crooked, the transfer aisle is where these rectangles are right here. Rectangles! And then the 2 SRBs and the mobile launcher are waiting for it in high bay 3 right here. See that? How will they move SLS? Crawler transporter, man. You can't move this any other way, dude. That rocket is gigantic. I mean, look at it, Chief. Look at it compared to the Saturn V. Look at it compared to the shuttle. Look at it compared to the Statue of Liberty. SLS is a big rocket, and it's very, very heavy. The reason why it's heavy is because of the density of the propellants for the solid rocket motors. That's way more than the Saturn V. The Saturn V was moved to 39A with no fuel in the tanks. Those SRBs are fully fueled. The ones that are inside of High Bay 3 are fully fueled right now. So you're moving a lot more mass. This is a heavy mother, dude. You have to move it by a crawler. There's no other way. So, you know, this is a render of what it'll look like at 39B. But yeah, there it is, man. Beast mode of a rocket, dude. It's really a powerful sucker. That is a nutso rocket. Any special modifications to the crawler? Not the crawler transporters per se. They are doing mass tests with the CT right now with CT2. I know a guy that's working on that. Believe it or not, Chief. They're load testing the crawler transporter to make sure it can move the SRBs with an SLS attached to it. How do you get on top of OSB2? I've stopped asking questions straight up. I would ask Das how the hell that even happened, but it's not worth it. I'm sure. Yeah, I don't know, man.
As drastically as other places because of block systems they have in place.
I don't know, dude. I don't know how NASA Spaceflight pulls all this stuff off, dude. It's above my pay grade, man.
It's Pegasus. Like,
Yes.
can they let water in and let water, like, pump water out to make it float higher and lower?
Is SLS more or less capable than Saturn V? Well, Flight Sim, that's kind of a difficult thing to say. Saturn V is a much more integrated system, so the Saturn V came with a nice third stage with a lander and with a CSM kind of out of the box. We know, as of recently with NASA's HLS program, that a lander wasn't really designed with SLS when it was first made. SLS was very much make the heavy lift vehicle and then we'll figure out what we want to do with it later, which is not necessarily a good way to do it. However, SLS, on the books, there is a better version of SLS out there. This Block 1B version is this guy right here. The Block 1 version is the version that's on right now. And then there's the Block 1 Cargo, which has a Delta IV fairing on top of it. That's for like shooting payloads really far into space if you need to. And then there's these guys. The Block 1B Crew and Block 1B Cargo. These variants right here are very useful. You could use the Block 1B Crew to put a lander in here, or at least parts to a lander, and use that to get out to the moon. But I think I think the SLS really only becomes more capable than Saturn V once these guys come around. The reason why is the addition of an upper stage called the Exploration Upper Stage, or EUS. The EUS is a gigantic upscaled Delta IV second stage. It's a Delta IV second stage with 4 RL-10s, and the EUS has tremendous potential to be able to... It's not the most powerful upper stage, heavy lift rocket upper stage ever devised, but where it lacks in like thrust to weight, it really makes up for in efficiency. 4 RL-10s working in the upper stage like this gives you a tremendous increase in payload capacity because your high specific impulse. It's a Hydrolox heavy lift upper stage. So you could really, really improve TLI. Now, what does that mean? What does improving TLI mean? What does that mean? Well, we're talking about throw weight out to the moon. SLS in its current configuration has a very low TLI because that second stage is off of a Delta IV. It's tiny. So it's really only good for moving an Orion capsule out there if you absolutely need to. Now, with that being said, the Block 1B variant will have, I think on the books right now, it's 40 tons TLI, which is on par with Saturn V. Guys, it's almost like physics is physics, man. 40 to 45 tons is to translunar injection, meaning moving about 90,000 pounds on TLI is about what you need to get like humans out there and near the surface of the moon. That's what you need. So SLS in the Block 1B variant, which is being worked on right now, that upper stage is being worked on. They've passed CDR, so they should start fabricating parts for it soon. That is being worked on, and hopefully we get that EUS. This right here, 1B crew and 1B cargo, is a really, really potent launch vehicle. It's very good. That right there, those two are more capable than Saturn V. This is like SLS Light right here. Mars, didn't you go to bed? Something like that. But why would I go to bed when a core stage is being rolled into the VAB? Could it go to Mars? No. You don't. It would be good. What you would really want, Chief, is to build vehicles in low Earth orbit to go to Mars. And SLS, I mean, SLS could do that. It doesn't necessarily need the EUS to do that. You just need a big fairing to do that. Okay, so Block 1B is a modern Saturn V in capability, for the most part, yeah. Actually, I think it's more capable. It has more C3, so it might not be able to move a bigger payload out there, but you can move bigger payload further. So, like, down the road, they could use the EUS as like a reusable stage or something. If you master Hydrolox in situ resource utilization, like on the moon, you could refuel EUSs and just keep using them. It's possible. The RL-10s, they can start an infinite amount of times, Ferd. Is that engine test in the top left related to SLS? That's the green run. That's this core stage. That's the exact... That thing up there on the left screen is that. That's the exact one. That photo with the rocket, or that GIF with the rocket engines wiggling around, was when they were testing this stage at Stennis. SLS is full Hydrolox. Well, with the exception of the solid rocket boosters, yeah. How does the RL-10 engine ignite? Heat. No, it has a spark igniter, Laserman. It's like a grill. So, like, if you have an electric grill, you... Same thing. But the RL-10 uses a expander cycle, which is really cool. They take the liquid hydrogen and they run the liquid hydrogen up against the nozzle of the engine first, and then the hydrogen gets heated up, and then it expands and it drives a turbine. And that turbine is attached to a gearbox, which turns the LOX turbo pump, and then the turbine main shaft turns the hydrogen turbo pump, and then they have an igniter in there. Just bigger sparks. All you need is one fire, just like a grill. Right? Yeah, rocket engines work like that. All you need is one spark. You don't need a spark plug constantly going off to make ignition. Not with a rocket engine, just once. Yeah. RL-10s, as long as you have electricity, can be restarted a bunch of times, dude. Why are they transporting it with fuel? Well, the core stage doesn't have any fuel in it, huzzah. The solid rocket boosters do. The reason why is solid rocket booster fuel is more like, it's like Play-Doh, basically. It has the consistency of Play-Doh. And it takes, like Play-Doh or clay or whatever, it takes time to set. So they manufacture the casings, and they fill the casings up with grain, with the industry term for propellant, for solid rocket propellant. They fill it up with grain, and they ship them here in segments, and then they stack them together like Legos. Solid rockets are generally safer to not fuel on the pad, not near any source of ignition. They're manufactured in Ogden, Utah by Northrop Grumman and then transported here by train. Every space shuttle booster was done that way. Every space shuttle solid rocket motor. They were all made first by Morton Thiokol, and then by Alliant Tech Systems, and then Alliant Tech System merged with Orbital Sciences to make OATK, and then OATK was bought out by Northrop Grumman, and Northrop Grumman is now the parent company. Yeah, forbidden explosive silly putty. What crawler is SLS sitting on? It's not sitting on a crawler. It's sitting on a mobile launcher, Rob. And that mobile launcher is brand new. It's never been used. They made a brand new mobile launcher for it. They unfortunately scrapped the other mobile launchers or are using them for tests. I'm waiting for these guys to get going. I'm not sure what's going on here. Hey, Paximux. So I just joined. I'm sorry if you've answered this 100 times, but what's the deal today? No launch, right? They're just moving the rocket. So Pax, they're offloading the rocket from the barge to the VAB, to NASA's Vehicle Assembly Building. Oh, looks like they're getting ready to do something here. This is kind of a red letter day because this is the first time this has ever happened. This is the first time this type of rocket has ever been delivered to Kennedy Space Center. So yeah, all you're going to see basically is the rocket roll out of this barge, go past the camera, and go into the VAB, and that's it. No launch today. This rocket core is scheduled for the Artemis 1 mission, which is in November of this year. The reason why, like, I know what you're going to say. Why is it taking so much time? Are you kidding me? Well, this is the first one. So they got to practice. They got to use it. They got to practice with it. They got to practice putting it together. They got to practice making sure all the systems work. Future SLS missions will not take this long to put together. This is just the first one, so you really want to make sure you do it right. And you also don't have any checklists for this. There's no checklist for it. So the first time you put it together, you go slow and you take your time, right? And you end up writing the checklist. Hey, Balxy, what's up? Yeah, no, it's cool. I mean, the rockets, this core stage is gigantic. It's 8.4 meters in diameter and about 70 meters tall. So that's 28 feet by 212 feet. Thing's gigantic. It's huge. I mean, once again, look at it in a barge compared to the dudes. This thing is a monster. The opposite of SpaceX. Well, they use a different type of testing, Chief. Yeah, you're a beanie. Well, it's in Florida, so it should be not as bad. Hey, Saichi, what's going on? Florida doesn't have that crazier regs compared to some of the rest of the world's. I mean, it looks like everybody there has masks on, but that's because it's federally mandated. You have to on a government facility. I'm pretty sure some people are more than happy to oblige there. I don't know what you're talking about, drummer. What time do you have now? I got 12 in Norway. I'm guessing you're 6 or 5 o'clock. It's 6 o'clock right now, dude. I'm GMT minus 5. So, yeah, you're 6 hours ahead of me. What's for lunch, Pax? Pax, I have some Vespe ball. I could have that for lunch. It's not going to get me very far. Pizza. Nice. I like pizza. That's right, Liquid. I got some dunder salt in the kitchen. I don't know, Coder. I don't care. It's -4. It's 6 in the morning right now. I got any Tim Tams? Nah. Spinach and feta? Oh, you would, you Greek. Wait, did you say dunder salt? Yeah. Yeah, I have some of that. Tastes like trash, man. Yeah. Norwegians to EJ. I'll try dunder salt. It tastes great. Make sure you try it on stream. It'll be great. It wasn't great. It's amazing. Oh, you're crazy, man. You're crazy. Oh, that was strong stuff, dude. Strong stuff. EJ, you're just a little confused. Is SLS and Artemis 1 the same? SLS is the rocket, Artemis 1 is the mission. SLS will fly the Artemis 1 mission. Right there, JJ, that's Core Stage 1. Core Stage 1 is the first SLS functioning prototype ever. It's serial number 1 for the SLS program. Core Stage 1. Core Stage 1 will fly the Artemis 1 mission.
Who's calling it that? They may try to brute force the name back into existence. It seems there's a lot of fans out there.
If the Jupiter Direct, if they trademark that or something, they may have something to say about that.
Considering the Europa Clipper is not launching on the Jupiter Direct vehicle, yes.
Yeah. No, I think that's one of the many things that I think
it is an unmanned flight test, Q-Tom. Yep.
SpaceX operations, they fly.
Did they fix the green run problem? So, fellas, they did another Apple Lunar. They did a second green run test, and the green run test went full duration. So, if anything, they have more data than what they need. Yeah, green run went fine. You could see where the green run burned the core stage right there. See, that's not paint. That's burn marks from where it caught on fire. Don't worry, it's intended. It's okay. Taxman's 2-month resub. Dundersalt is good. You just need to like ammonia. Yeah, I know. Do they plan on making anything reusable on this rocket? Orion is reusable, AP. But, I mean, Orion is reusable in SLS. They're not going to recover the boosters. They're just going to send it, dude. You know, I know it sucks that nothing is reusable on the rocket, but also at the same time, you need a lot of freaking power, dude. You need a lot of power to move something to the moon, to move people there, and all the stuff that you need to keep people alive for a long period of time. It takes a big frigging rocket to do that. And you guys know the rule on reusability. You want to make a rocket reusable, you're screwing the mass fraction on the rocket. Meaning you're adding stuff to the rocket that's not fuel, and that will rob you of efficiency like crazy. You'd be surprised how far it throws it out of whack. So for instance, if they gave the SLS core some type of like thermal protection system so it could come back down and land or parachute or something, you're adding like 10 tons worth of thermal protection system. That's 10 tons that you won't get to orbit, and that's 10 tons that you won't move to the moon. Now, in a rocket, where you need it, with a rocket, a super heavy launch vehicle, we said a little bit earlier that 40 tons TLI is really what you want. 40 tons translunar injection is like how much the rocket can shoot out at the moon. 30-ton TLI is useless. That does nothing. You might as well have a rocket that doesn't make it into space. So, yeah, it sucks that it's not reusable. But if you want to send stuff up into space and you want to send stuff out to the moon, you know, you want to make an omelet. You got to break some eggs, dude. That's just kind of how it has to be. As a big shuttle guy, I'm not really particularly happy seeing shuttle engines get thrown into the ocean. That's like my worst nightmare. But that's what you got to do. If that's what you got to do to move stuff to the moon. This is a zero-sum game. You need this amount of energy to get to the surface of the moon, and so it's not like, oh, just make the rocket a little bit bigger. This rocket's gigantic. It's going to be about 300 feet tall, so it's about 100 meters. Because SLS in the Block 1 configuration, convariance, nice. In the Block 1 configuration, hey, the sun's coming up, is 330 feet tall. That's 100 meters tall. This rocket's huge. How big do you want it to be? It'd have to be double the size if you wanted to get that thing back down. And double the size doesn't necessarily equal double the payload mass. Because when you're talking up at super heavy lift rockets, when you're talking super heavy lift, when you're talking stuff that's going to shoot stuff out to the moon, when you're doing that, it's a diminishing return. Building a rocket that's twice as big won't get you double the payload mass out there. It'll get you 25% more. It's exponentially more difficult. That's not a shuttle transporter, Talon. That's the Pegasus barge that was used to transport external tanks. And also the TE is up at pad 39, yeah. That's right, Chief. Seigneur, bonjour. Comment ça va? Exactly, AP. Like, it's a diminishing return at that point, dude. It doesn't make any sense. Now, don't get me wrong. Just because NASA's doing this now doesn't mean they won't go to something reusable in the future. It's possible. Strange as it may be. That's right, Orion. I thought they brought the TE down shortly after launch. Nope. I guess not, Jim. No, you're good. Ça va bien, merci. I'm fine, thank you. Bien. Hey, Capcom. I took a break and then a little bird told me to come here for this, so I'm here. This is eating pretty hard into my sleep schedule, but it's okay. SLS is worth it. How's things over in Europe? Who needs sleep when we have rockets? Damn straight, mate. You damn straight, mate. Why is the strongback vertical? You guys, I don't have the answer to that question. I don't know. I don't know. SpaceX probably hasn't started the next launch campaign at 39As. They probably don't need the transporter erector. Just leave it there. Guys, they store that thing out on the pad all the time. It doesn't go back into the HIF until they're ready to put a rocket on it. So it's either stored in the upright position or they just lay it on its side. And its home is actually on the pad, believe it or not. When the HIF at 39A, when the transport erector at 39A is down in the HIF, that's not where it's supposed to be. They only do that when they need to put a rocket on it and then roll that back out to the pad. Its home is on the pad right there. What are we watching? Saichi, look right here. Here, I'll just go backwards a little bit. Take a look. They're going to roll out the SLS core stage here. Just waiting for them to do it. Just seems odd that it's both vertical and the floodlights are on it. Maybe SpaceX is upgrading something out there. They seem to have all the floodlights on at the pad, and there's definitely a crane up there. See the crane? They have it looks like a telescoping crane, but I can't be sure from here. It's too blurry. See that? There's definitely a crane. So they're doing something out there. Actually, I know what they're doing, if you really want to know. I know what they're doing with that crane out there. Does anybody else know? I thought of it. I remembered what they were doing. What is that rocket? There's no rocket out there. That's the transporter erector. That's right, Phil. They're reconfiguring the reaction frame for USS F-44. That's what's going on. That's why they have the crane out there. They're reconfiguring the RF. So what does that mean? What is that? What are you talking about? Are you just making stuff up? Well, sometimes I, it sounds like I am. I know. Here. So, let me look through my Falcon Research Pictures collection. So this thing right here is called the reaction frame. All right, see it right there? That's a picture of the 39A transporter, okay? Now this was for the DM-1 mission a long time ago. It seems like it was, at least. So the transporter erector out at 39A has two components. You have the transporter erector, the TE, which is the white part, and then you have the reaction frame over here. The RF can be reconfigured. If you look at it, in this particular configuration, you have a hold down point and then another hold down point right behind it. There's two hold down points right in sequence with each other. That's not right. What the heck is this one doing? Well, the answer is that one's doing nothing. right now. It's doing nothing. There are these inserts, and you can see where they drop them in with the crane. See that flap right there? These inserts actually can pop out if they want to reconfigure the pad. Now, why would they reconfigure the pad? Well, you'd reconfigure the pad if you need to launch a bigger rocket. See? There's that same exact transporter erector in configuration for Falcon Heavy. Falcon Heavy has the inserts on the side removed, and it has compression bridges installed. These guys right here, those two things are called compression bridges. That's basically designed to hold the dang thing up, because that's where a hold down point should be, right? For Falcon 9, but it's not because there's another booster in the way. Is 39A the only pad that can launch Falcon Heavy? Well, right now, Slick 4 at Vandenberg has Falcon Heavy capability. Yeah, these are old pictures. Yeah, see? They're reconfiguring the reaction frame. Or at least they're probably going to start doing that soon. Now, if you look at a picture of a Falcon Heavy, see that pad right there? That's what sits on the compression bridge. See that pad? That sits on the compression bridges on the transporter. And then the hold down points attached to these pegs right here. See the pegs that are going horizontally? Right there, and right there? That's the hold down points. So, USS F-44 is, I think, the next mission slated to go off that pad. It's either USS F-44 or it's, it could be CRS-22, but CRS-22 could theoretically launch out of pad 40. I don't know for sure. So there definitely is a crane out there, and the pad is on, so they're doing something to it. It could be reconfiguring it for Falcon Heavy, or, I don't know, maybe SpaceX just thought it'd look cool lit up. I don't know. When do you think they will start work on that integration building? I don't know. Friday, Vasya. Nice shirt. Thanks, man. On the Starlink, the next one is... On the subreddit, the next one is Starlink on May 4th, but again, it's Reddit. Starlink could fly from pad 40, Blinga. Friday is where we're at, I think, Vasya. So how long is the journey from the test stand to KSC? It would be like going from Adelaide to Sydney by water. It's about that far. AP? Give or take. You got to go down around Florida. So, like, in this scenario, get on a boat at Adelaide, go down, go around Tasmania, and go around Hobart, and then go up to Melbourne. Melbourne or Sydney. I mean, no, not Melbourne. You'd go to Sydney. Sydney is where, yeah, that's about right. It's about that distance. About, I think, so 700 nautical miles, Jim, what is that? That's a little over 1,000 Ks, something like that. Yeah, they move it on that barge. Here, I can show you. So, here's how they do this. So we're at KSC right now. There's the turning basin. That's what we're looking at right here on NASA Spaceflight's footage. This is the press site here. And anytime you see like that famous footage of the countdown timer with the pads in the background, see? There's the countdown timer. That's the press site. So we're going to kind of do this backwards, but I'll show you. So you go out the turning basin, right? Go down here. You can see the canals that they dredged in the 60s. And then they dredged this area out to make 39A. And then Gator Hole they dredged for 39B. But that's another story. They have the canals. It goes here. This is the... I think that's the Banana River. That's what this is called. This whole thing right here is called the Banana River. But they'll go in here. They'll go through the Port Canaveral locks right there. And then they go out Port Canaveral. Right? And then from there, you're going here. I mean, keep in mind, I'm kind of making the trip backwards. Yeah, a little more than 1,000 Ks here. So, before this, the core stage was at Stennis. Stennis is where NASA tests their rockets, like SpaceX tests in Texas, right? Where would be the inlet? Right here. Let's just do a straight line. And then from here, it would go through the locks at Stennis, right? And then it would go up here. And then the B2 test stand right here is where the core stage was tested for the green run. Right there. It wasn't Michoud. Jam, Michoud is where it's built. So, before it went there, just bear with me here. Before it went there, it was built in Michoud. It came in through the locks, but it went in a little bit of a different direction. I'm just going to, for the canal's sake, let's just go down here like this. And it came to Stennis through over here, through this canal right here. This canal connects in to NASA's Michoud facility over here. And it was loaded on the canal right there. It was loaded into the canal right there. And then that leads to Michoud, where it was built. Michoud builds big rockets. You can kind of tell because of the way it is. So that river was dug out too? Well, that's yes and no. At Stennis, yeah. So it's about 1,800 Ks. That thing's got some Ks on it, man. And for everyone else, for America units, it's about 1,100 miles. That's a long way. So they're built there. They test them over in Stennis, over here, and then they ship them off to Florida. It's following in the same path as most of the Saturn V core, actually all of the Saturn V core stages. So this right here is not, that's a river. It's a natural river. I forget which one it is, dude, to be honest. But Stennis, they dredged out a lot of things here. You could tell that humans have been here. The reason is because they were just like, nah, take a left. The river used to go that way. And then you could see where they just like, nah, stop taking corners, and they made it straight. And then they made it straight again, and again, and again. And then basically from here over, that's all man-made. All this is all man-made. You could see they put a levee. They put a levee up to this, and this is all a man-made canal. They used it because Stennis is where they tested everything. Saturn V first stages, Saturn V second stages were tested here. Third stages were tested here. Everything was tested here on all the Stennis test stands. Stennis does a lot of rocket testing, way more than what we kind of think. No, wrong levee, Brainiac. No Chevy to the levee. Chevys are junk. Pretty neat little tour. Yep, they move them by ship. But Saturn V first and second stages were made in Michoud. All the space shuttle's external tanks were made in Michoud. They were all made there. I actually have some pictures if you want to see them. Let's just make sure the core stage hasn't moved on us. Nope. Chris is looking over at the press site in Slick 41. That's the Atlas V in Vulcan's pad over there. That's the vertical integration facility for Slick 41. There's Slick 40, SpaceX's pad. We just watched a rocket launch from that. The transporter erector is down over there, which is interesting. 39A is right there, and then there's a gigantic shuttle. I'll show you pictures of Michoud from the 60s. Don't ask me how I found these. How did you find these? Don't worry about it, bro. Don't worry about it. Yeah, note the people standing right there for your scale. They must need some big forklifts to lift those. This is beyond forklifts, man. Google? No, it's actually Cole. It was off of NASA's image archive. NASA has a really awesome image archive that nobody knows about. Check this out. Images.nasa.gov. Type Saturn 5. Boop.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
See what I mean? They're off of NASA's image site. But those are extremely high resolution pictures, which are crazy to me. And then the cool thing is that you could set it by date. Update results for Saturn V. And it gets you all this awesome archival footage. Like them testing the, that's SA500D. SA500D, so that Saturn V stage is the one that's at Kennedy Space Center. They used it for dynamic testing. And this picture is at Marshall on the SA500D Saturn V dynamic test stand. Well, it's not called SA500D. It's just the Saturn V dynamic test stand. Hey, Vaingloriously. 37-month resub. So SA500D was later refurbished into flight lookalike. And that's the one that's at KSCVC. That's at Kennedy Space Center. That's the one that's on display, which is cool. Guys, this is dangerous. There's all kinds of stuff, man. Yeah, see? Look at the Saturn V stages compared to the people, man. It's freaking huge. It's a big freaking rocket. That's actually a picture of Saturn V parts in the VAB transfer aisle. That's in the VAB transfer aisle. That's exactly where SLS is going right now, where this core stage is heading to. It's heading inside of that room. This is the transfer aisle inside of the VAB. There's Von Braun with the Saturn V behind him. What is done in Huntsville? Huntsville does a lot of dynamic testing at Marshall Space Flight Center. They do dynamic testing. Marshall Space Flight Center, Luke, right now, is overseeing HLS, if you really want to know. Human Landing System. Seriously. Jim moved the contract to Marshall in 2019. I'm not going to lie. The Saturn V with the S4B and the CSM and the LM looks so nice. I agree. I can hear in your voice that you're tired. You're okay. I haven't slept, dude. Night, Jim. Phenomenon, I woke up at 11 a.m. yesterday. It's 6 a.m. today. I haven't slept, dude. I'm hitting the end of my rope, dude. And I haven't had a coffee in 8 hours, man. This is just my normal voice, dude. This is how I normally talk. I'm not that, yay, let's go, you know, here you go. You want to hear my streaming voice? There's the streaming voice. Look at that. They're going to take that SLS core and they're going to move it all the way over into the VAB. Is this what you wanted to hear? Didn't they crush a Saturn V first stage at Marshall? It was a test article, Talon. Yeah, they did. They crushed it in a gigantic hydraulic press and it popped like a balloon. Yes, they did. Was Starlink interesting? We got some awesome views, first-person views from the stage coming down, Vasi. Other than that, it seemed fine. The 5B launch, Long March 5B was pretty cool. We got to see one of their engineers get cut off midstream and told to shut up. Yeah. They asked the engineer a question, and he was like, "Oh, well, this is how we're gonna do this, and this is how we." Oh. And then one of the hosts was like, "Let's watch a replay." I'm like, "What just happened?" Yeah. One of their engineers, they didn't like what he was saying. They cut the feed. It's not okay. And then the Vega launch was fine. Yeah, 3 launches back to back to back. It was pretty cool. And the button, yeah, they push a freaking go button. They push a button that looks like it should be on a Street Fighter cabinet to make that rocket go. He was saying what their plans were for the space station, and they cut him off. He said, we're going to deploy the plan in 3 phases. The first phase is when and then they're like, okay, let's watch a replay of the rocket. I'm like, what the hell just happened? Thanks, Catfish. Do we know what orbit it went into? 400 by 170. Sorry, Flight Sim. I'm sorry I ruined it for you.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Taz, 35 months. Hey, Jay, it's your birthday. Happy birthday, man. Did you even sleep? No. Yeah, and you know what was crazy? And what inclination? 41 degrees inclined. 41 degrees, 400 by 170, I think is what it was. Nuggets, that guy was, his name was like Dr. Yang Yang or something was the dude's name. And the guy was actually, okay, like, I'm sorry, I was not expecting this from the CNSA, like, and I know it sounds screwed up, and you can call me a prick for saying this, that's fine. Okay, so like, you watch the American launches, everybody's hyped up. Yeah, let's go, man, let's go. You watch the Russian launches, everybody's like, yes, everything is working correctly. You watch the European launches, I'm pretty sure they get off on not smiling. They're just like, yep, everything went good. I was expecting kind of the Chinese launch to be very, very straightforward and very, yes, the rocket is performing good. But they had this professor that's like, yeah, look, you could see on the rocket cam that the thing's about to stage. We're waiting for stage separation, and he was obviously doing it with a huge, heavy Chinese accent. But you could tell the guy was getting into it, and I'm like, that is not what I was expecting, to be honest with you. Well, this guy was a professor at the CNSA, Spoon, and he was freaking into it, dude. Like, you gotta go watch the VOD, man. That guy was getting into it. He's like, look, you're gonna see the boosters separate, and now it's working off the core stage. The core stage is gonna go all the way into space. I'm like, what is happening here? Yeah, it was like my Chinese counterpart. Tetron is just weird, man. That's just weird. That weirded me out. I'm like, what is happening over here? I know, Huzzah. I know that the straight-faced Europeans, internally, you guys are going, yes, yeah. I know. I know. I can see it because every once in a while, the European, like when they go to launch the rocket, the European flight controllers will be like, yes. Hey, Midge, what's going on? All right, boys, we're gonna move this thing or what? I know, AP. It is Goliath infrastructure, man. It's unbelievable. I mean, now you look at all that infrastructure, all those test stands, all that stuff that they built. Now you understand why the Apollo program has such a heavy price tag, because they had to build all this stuff to figure out how the frig to do it. Hey, Red Dragon, 30-month resub. Haven't been around much, but 2.5 years now. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. I mean, that's why the SLS program can do what Apollo did for a fraction of the cost, because Apollo is still technically paying for it because they're using facilities that were built during the Apollo program. We have humor as well. Yeah, you would say that. What, do Germans have the most efficient humor? And if you don't laugh at the jokes, you don't understand comedy? Let me guess, Capcom. Is that how that works? Yeah, Kyron, that's what I was saying. The professor, that's Professor Yang Yo Yang is what his name was. They shut him up. I couldn't believe that, Kyron. I've never seen that before. I knew what was going on. I'm not stupid, but yeah, kind of sobering moment. I'm like, did that just happen? Were things cheaper in the 60s? Steel, concrete, and manpower? Not really, Blasty. Not over here, no. I mean... Yeah, well, yeah, maybe. I don't know. Yeah, we have the most efficient comedy. We go into a basement for laughing so no one can see. Yes, I just had a laughing session in the basement. It was very good. Yeah, I laughed at all the funny things. I watched all the funny movies. All the funny movies like strong German man trips over a sidewalk and falls and breaks his arm and screams in pain. Yes, it was very funny. I laughed at the whole thing. I've gotten the laughing out, so I don't need to do it anymore. Capcom, I'm just going with your joke, man. I'm sorry. Yes, he fell over. He fell over, and then he broke his arm, and he was screaming in pain, and it was hilarious. I don't know why I just devolved into Toto Wolff there, but hey, whatever. What did I miss? Not much. They're getting ready to roll out the core stage. Toto's that you? Yeah, that's me. Yeah, we're not here just to race. We're here to crush the competition. Sorry. I'm sorry. I like Germans. One of my buddies growing up was German, off the boat. Yeah, his parents moved here. So yeah, one of my good friends growing up was German. Yeah. Yeah. When I'd hang out at his house, I thought at first his mother was giving me crap about things. But then I realized that it's just German. It's just German things, okay? So if I'd go over to my friend's house, right? To my buddy's house, and his mother was from Germany, and we would walk in and she'd be like, "Oh, EJ, you have your shirt untucked. You should not have your shirt untucked like that." And I'm like, "What? Why?" "Well, you're a young boy. You should not have your shirt untucked. You should tuck your shirt in." I'm like, "What? The frick?" Your shoelaces are untied. Your shoelaces should not be untied. You're going to trip. I'm like, oh, all right. VAB. Oh no, that's 39B. Yeah, it was. I'm like, why are you telling me to tuck my shirt? I'm not your kid. I ain't your kid. Get away from me. And my buddy was like, dude, just do it. Just trust me, just do it. I know Nuggets. Yeah, Shaq, something like that. No, drummer, it's not. That has nothing to do with it, dude. That's just Germans. Trust me. Grew up one of my best friends in middle school and going into high school. His parents are very German. Trust me on that one. That's just Germans. I don't pay it any mind. It's not. They're not like. It's not like a attack against you. It's just. That's just Germans, dude. That's just what they do. Yeah, flight sim, you know. It's not a personal attack. It's just a statement. You don't take it the wrong way. I know that. Yeah, dude, I understand that real well. No, this wasn't giving crap, midget. It's just, yeah. The Brits, man, are cheeky bastards. The Brits are. When are you going to play my game on stream? Yes, at some point. Something like that, Kyron. Sure. I don't know, man. When I feel like it. Okay, well, let's see what we got here. Gonna move this sucker or what? Has the move been scrubbed? No way. Here, let's go up. Let's go up here live.
Station. And the core stage did its testing at Stennis, and so they're basically they're at the point now where all of the launch vehicle and spacecraft elements are here, and they just need to assemble it, check it out, and launch it.
Yeah, I think the only, and it's a very, very small caveat to that, I think some of the CubeSats, some of the secondary payloads aren't here yet,
Because
but
until now,
yeah,
everything has been
it's just a matter of
satisfactory. Yeah,
NASA's
yeah,
trying to
Blasty.
figure out when to
Yeah,
tell the
exactly.
scientists and the university
NASA's like, I'll move it when I
agencies
feel
they
like
can
it.
do
Yeah,
them.
that's
They're
right.
done, they're just not here yet. Or they're being finished, they're just not here yet.
All right. Good deal. Another good question. Y'all, there's a lot of good questions coming through chat, so I'm just pulling some out on occasion. Sometimes I see questions come across that we've already asked or answered or talked about in detail, so I'm not trying to ignore anything, just trying to get a good spread of questions. But Philip, if you need to run down to the press site and get ready for the interviews for all of those detailed articles we write, you're good to go. Thank you for hanging out with us up
Okay.
here for a while.
All right, we'll see you guys later.
All right, we'll be here.
And so now that
That's
Philip's
Phil
out,
Sloss, guys. If
that
you ever
should
read a
be
NASA
12
spaceflight
first
article
version
about
when
SLS,
he gets to the elevator.
Phil writes like
While he's
5,000
walking,
word
like, he's gonna be
essays.
walking over to the press building, and that's when they're going to start moving the thing.
I wouldn't say that's a bad possibility.
They still have that, the telehandler is still there in the way, so I assume that everybody's going to clear out before it
Oh,
moves.
yeah.
Like, everybody get out of the way.
Friday spoon is what
Yeah,
they're
we should
targeting,
see a
but it might be
massive
next
speed.
week.
Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes we watch for like safety meetings and stuff like that. Every now and then you'll see everybody sort of bunch up, and then they'll talk for a little bit, and then
Which, to be fair, they are all kind of bunched up in there, so I don't know if they're working on something or having that fight.
Yeah, they're getting
like,
ready to
brief
plan the
brief
lift.
or whatever. But
yeah.
but you know, like
They aren't moved by a single
we're so
Kerbal.
used
My
to
life
in
is
the
a
realm of
lie.
space flight, things have
We
to
don't, there's no
happen
Kerbals on the screen,
at
man.
very
There's only
specific times,
there's
right?
only
Like, we're used
people.
to the fact
This
that
is
you're
human
like, oh, you
space
guys
program,
did
not
pressurized
Kerbal.
to take it 4 minutes and 32 seconds, not 31, not 33, but 32.
Right.
This is one of those operations in space.
Do you know when SN15 will be launched? It could be Friday, Exino. Could be Friday. They're waiting on FAA approval. Pretty sure SN15 is good to go. It's done 2 static fires. One was a 3-engine burn. The other one was a 3-engine static fire. The other one was a single-engine static fire. Pretty sure SpaceX is good to go. I'm pretty sure they're just waiting on the paperwork from the FAA. Fairly confident they're targeting Friday, and if it's not going to be Friday, it's going to be Monday. This is painful to watch. Why? Just enjoy this nice Florida morning, dude. Jeez. Do you think Starship will be an albeit different implementation of more powerful Space Shuttle version 2 in a sense? It's trying to do the same thing, Saturn. Yeah, absolutely. Starship's trying to do the same thing. It's trying to take all the best qualities from a Saturn V and the best qualities of a space shuttle and kind of and make it work like an airplane, which is that's a tall order, man. It's a tall order. It really is. It's going to cost a lot of money and it's going to take time. Even with SpaceX's lightning fast pace, that's still going to take time. And no, I'm not a doubter or a hater by any means. I want Starship to work a lot. Starship working will vindicate reusable spaceflight because the space shuttle left a bad taste in everybody's mouth. That's like saying, oh, I'm worried about fuel economy, so here, let me buy a muscle car. Sure. Oh, man, no, cars don't work anymore because I bought a muscle car. You know, I used it like a Prius. Do you think an alligator has ever bitten a rocket? No, Blasty, but I know personally that there's gators in the turning basin. Oh, yeah, there's gators there. I've seen them with my own eyes, dude. I've walked right here. Walked all up in here. All up in here in this parking lot. Yeah, walked all up in there, dude. Josh? Dude, what's that, Phil? I would not go swimming with a gator. Hell no. Yeah, Mike Seeley's picture is freaking awesome. Yeah, the one with the moon in the background. It's amazing. Gators are nothing on Crocs. I mean, I don't know why you would see a crocodile here, Tetron. This is the United States in the Northern Hemisphere. But yeah, gators here are no joke. They're big. They're like 3 or 4 meters long, depending on age. Yes, 3 to 4 meters long. That's not an exaggeration. I've never seen one 3 to 4 meters long, but I did see a 2-meter gator in the turning basin before. What they do is they sit on the shore right there and they just kind of chill in the sun. Just chill. Just sit there. Yeah, me too, Saturn. Me too. Start a bookie. I bet you could go to... Excuse me. Sorry. I bet you can go to go to Vegas and see. I bet you can bet on Starship Spoon. People bet on everything, man. Yeah, Racing Kid. Yeah. Your works HQ in Louisiana had an issue with gators sunbathing in the employee parking lot. That's what they do, dude. During the day, they'll just go and sit on the shore they'll just chill. They just chill on the beach, or they just sit there. They don't move. I mean, when you think about it, it's just a big frigging lizard. What does the lizard do? The lizard just sits there. The gator is just a much bigger lizard that can bite you in half. I guess another Starship question is, what do you think will be the larger the challenges with Starship? The second stage or the first stage? Starship. Starship is going to be very difficult, Saturn. Very difficult. You know why? Because it has everything that the first stage has, albeit in a smaller capacity. So it has engines, and it has fuel tanks. And the first stage has engines and fuel tanks too. But Starship is going to need stuff like payload bay doors. Payload bay doors, folding wings, articulating flappy wings. It's going to need life support systems. It's going to need airlock controls. It's going to need windows, which are structurally weak, believe it or not. Windows in any mechanical piece of mechanical equipment is a weak point. Cars, planes, trains, doesn't matter. You're going to need a furnished interior. You need beds. You need a toilet. It's going to be way more complicated. And then all that needs to come back down and land. And it needs to do this. It needs to do that. Guys, it's going to be that Starship is going to be as complicated as the space shuttle. Now, I say it's going to be as complicated as the space shuttle, and if you know a little bit about space, that's going to imply that it would be as difficult as flying the space shuttle. I don't think so. I firmly believe that the space shuttle could have been... They could have used the space shuttle. They could have launched that thing once a week like they planned to. They just got cold feet because the thing did something they didn't want it to do. Because they didn't test it for the criteria that they were flying in. Test as you fly. They never tested any SRBs in the friggin' cold, but they certainly launched them in the cold. Oops. It's easy to say that in hindsight, and I understand that. I've read the entire Rogers Commission for what it's worth. It's been a while, but I've read it. And then CABE as well, but that's another story. Starship, I firmly believe that the shuttle could have been made to fly as frequently as what SpaceX wants to do with Starship. The original plan with the shuttle was to launch one every week. Seriously, once a week. And I think it could have been done. It just would have taken some time. And if NASA had actually paid attention to their damn engineering criteria, we might have space shuttles right now flying into space instead of frigging starships. And we would have cities up in low Earth orbit instead of we would have space stations the size of the football stadium and not the damn football field. Because the ISS is about the size of a soccer pitch or a football, like your football field, Europeans' football field. I'm talking about a space station the size of Wembley Stadium here. Or a space station the size of the stadium that Bayern Munich plays in. That big mother trucking stadium. You know what I'm talking about. With the parking garage and the huge walkway. We could have space stations that big. If NASA just listened to the damn design criteria. It's funny. It's almost like you got to listen to the engineers. If the people design it say it's not safe, don't launch it. Oops. How hard is it for Space Up to scale up Eclipse? Blinga, from what I've heard, Eclipse is fairly scalable. Hey, Toronto, one sleep? Oh, I don't know. I don't know. But, yeah, I firmly believe that the shuttle could have been made reusable. It could have been done. They just didn't do it. They got cold feet and started operating it like just another rocket. Now, they did it under the guise of safety, so they wouldn't kill 7 more people, and that just happened anyway. That's not their fault, though. Columbia, I'll still say, to this day, it was a freak accident. I've read the accident investigation. It is a freak accident. You could launch 1,000 more shuttles, and that would never happen. I guarantee that. But I think that the shuttle could have done it, and I think that Starship, despite for the human-rated version, will be as technically complicated as the shuttle, if not more. I think it could work. I think spaceflight is weird, man. Spaceflight is bizarre. You know why it's bizarre? Because every other mode of transportation, trains, boats, humans have never been afraid to go and build it bigger. Go and build it bigger and go and conquer it. Like we've conquered the seas over the last 500 years, right? Humanity's conquered the oceans, right? We still don't know a lot about them, which is kind of funny. But in terms of surface, we conquered that, right? Trains, high-speed rail, conquered that, no problem. Well, we not in the States we haven't, but kind of. We're getting there. Give us some time. It'll take some time. We're too busy building stuff like this, which is not bad. That's a different form of high-speed transportation. No. That actually brings me to my next point. Spaceflight is the only one of these where, and like, have people died in the ocean? Did people die trying to get to the New World, 500 years ago? Sure, absolutely. With trains, did people die with trains? Oh yeah, trains killed a lot of people before they became safe. Cars, same thing. It's interesting because when it happens with spaceflight, we get cold feet for some reason. And maybe it's because it's way more technically complicated than engineering a frigging train. And I understand that. I get it. But not even airplanes. We don't even do that with airplanes. People die on airplanes all the time. Like, not all the time. Like, it's not like one person crashed an airplane, right? And then we're like, nope, we can't do this anymore. But we do that with spaceflight, which is weird. It's interesting. Maybe it's just because all the time and the money invested. But you got to remember that airplanes, trains, automobiles, they were like that at one point. They were like that where you couldn't afford seeing someone get killed in your car. Tesla still has that frigging problem with their autopilot. The other day, some guys activated the autopilot and then sat in the back seat and their Tesla crashed. And everyone's like, "Oh, Teslas aren't safe. Teslas aren't safe." Yeah, it's one of the safest cars that you can drive around, and I'm saying that as a person that owns V8s. I own nothing but V8s. All my cars have freaking 8-cylinder engines in them. I know that the thing is safe. I get it. Oh, the battery caught on fire. Yeah, gas tanks do that all the time. Yeah, gas tanks do that all the time. Yeah, you remember the little exploding box that you have at the back of your car? It does the same thing. It explodes, energy and stuff. Hello from South Korea. Annyeong, haseyo. Do you own a Tesla? No. I have gas-guzzling cars. I have very, very typical American automobiles. So, like, big and... I think it's just because Western culture has changed drastically. People are a lot more sensitive. Yeah. And Roy, yeah. I guess, dude, we're very risk adverse, dude, and I don't like that for what it's worth. I don't like being risk averse. Being risk adverse for me as a person had me end up being in a freaking loading dock unloading televisions at an electronic retail store, man. The second I started not fearing failure is the second I started being successful. Now, once again, we shouldn't get cold feet with this stuff. We got cold feet during Challenger. We got cold feet during Columbia. This is ridiculous. We got to keep going. You got to keep aggressively pushing. Anyoung has it. Wow, very good. Thanks, man. That's all I know how to say. Hanyu, I don't know how to say anything else in Korean. Sorry. It might be because spaceflight is amongst a few countries and that each launch is displaying that country. Yeah, but there's a time 62. Like the US in the 30s was trying insane stuff like transatlantic crossings and flying around the world and stuff. People died in that all the time. And you know what? We said, screw it. That sucks. It was a noble endeavor. Somebody else will do it. You know what I mean? Like, look at like what Amelia Earhart did. A lot of Air Force, even Howard Hughes. Howard Hughes had the balls to build the plane and then go and fly the sucker. That would be like Elon Musk flying in a Dragon capsule right now. Like, you got, like, it's funny. Spaceflight is a weird balance of having the stones to go and do something, but not having too much stones to be an arrogant piece of crap and get yourself killed. It's like a weird balance. South Korea's lunar probe is scheduled to launch in August of next year. South Korea's lunar probe will be equipped with one NASA component. Cool, Henyu. Nice. Actually, Hanyu, on this channel, I follow all space programs. I follow what Kari is doing. Korean Aerospace Research. Yeah, they're testing engines. They were testing their open cycle kerosene engines. Yeah, I've been following that. I hope you guys do it. It's not easy to do, man. This stuff's tough. Starship has a freak accident like Columbia. Do you think NASA would get cold feet? NASA probably would, Spoon. Elon wouldn't. But then again, Elon probably wouldn't have it roll like that. Strongly believe that Elon will be on one of the first starships. I mean, look. What would you prefer a test ride in? A Jordan 191 or the latest Tesla prototypes? Jordan all the way, Toto. Jordan all the way. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and tell you like I could pilot a Jordan 191 and wouldn't bin it into the wall. I absolutely would. But you didn't say that part. You just said, would you rather test drive? Well, I'll drive the 191, thank you very much. That car is freaking cool, man. That's the green one. It's green, right? With the 7-Up logo on it? Hell yeah. That car is fast as balls. I think the most critical issues for a lot of stuff like cars, planes was fixed during the time where people in general were more for risking safety for innovation. Yeah, Mutehead. That's what I mean about being risk adverse. You're right. Your face is cool, EJ. Got him. Thank you. Yeah, Mutehead. At some point, you gotta put the stupid thing on the pad and hit the go button. And you know whose space program I like in that regard? The Chinese. Yeah, I'm not afraid to say that. I like their space. They don't care. Just hit the friggin' go button. Go into space. Paint shears off the side of the rocket. Whatever. Still worked. You know what I mean? I do appreciate their program in that regard. I mean, stop dropping stages on people. That's pretty uncool. I don't think they care about that either, but that's just my personal opinion. You know, that it reminds me of the U.S. in the 60s. Put it on at some point, you got to put the stupid thing on the pad and hit the go button and see what happens. They literally use a button to send it. Blinga, that was... Oh, God, that was so cool. I don't know why I got a kick out of that so much. It's so primitive, but it was freaking cool. Hit the damn button. Speed, yeet. I'm like, I hate that I like that, you know. They had a yeet button. They have a yeet button. It's a big red arcade button. You gotta be kidding me. It's a big red arcade button. I can't believe that. How is that even possible? They got a big red button and it stages the rocket. That's amazing. Yeah. See, North Korea does the same thing. They might Tetron. I know Soyuz does that, but Soyuz does that as for tradition. It's more of a traditional thing. Soyuz has launch keys, like GoldenEye style, where you put the keys in, you have to turn it, and then you hit the go button. But don't worry, they're not doing that at T-minus 0. It's to start the missile sequence because Soyuz is derived from an ICBM. It still has an auto sequencer, just like any other rocket. But the Russians have that, and they didn't take that system out because it's tradition, which is kind of cool. I dig that. If you look at the Soyuz launch control at Vostochny, or you look at the Soyuz launch control at Baikonur, you could see the keys. They turn the friggin' keys and they hit the go button, which is pretty rad. That's kind of cool. It's kind of a similar procedure as firing off a Titan missile. So a Titan missile, 2 guys had to turn 2 keys, and the keys were far enough away that you couldn't reach for both of them at the same time. So one guy had to turn a key, the other guy had to turn the key on the launch console, the other guy had to turn the key for the power, and then they could arm the missile. Yeah, I mean, once again, I think you don't want to see anybody die, but we've become very risk adverse, and I understand why, I understand the reasons, but I mean, at some point we're gonna have to get back out there, man. Karen, yeah, though the range safety is usually in a different building, man, believe it or not. At least it is down the Cape. Yeah, Ray, I'm with you. Trust me, I'm with you on that one, but I'm not going to sit here and just arrogantly say that we should just yeet stuff into space. That's a really stupid idea. This isn't the 1960s anymore, man. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't aggressively pursue our goals. You know what I mean? I'm with you on that one. Like, personally, guys, okay, so, like, little anecdote from me from high school, EJ. We took a field trip for an after-school program when I was like in 8th grade or something, 8th or 9th grade. Now, keep in mind, this is the mid-2000s, and skateboarding was the best. Tony Hawk came out on N64. Actually, this probably was like 2002, 2003, if I'm remembering. Tony Hawk came out, the blue N64 cartridge. Everybody loved skateboarding. So we took a trip down to a big skate park in Rhode Island. I'm from Boston, so we took a trip to a big skate park down in Rhode Island called Skaters Island. If you've played Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, it's in Pro Skater 3. The whole skate park, it's since been abandoned, which sucks. But so, 16-year-old EJ came in, and one of the first things you did when you walked in to Skaters Island was you saw the half pipe. It was a full X Games spec half pipe. This thing was like 14 feet of vert. Right? So if you know skateboarding, that it's 14 feet of vert. If that doesn't mean anything to you, it's 4 meters or 14 feet of like straight down half pipe. And all the kids there said, "Oh, EJ, I bet you won't drop in on it." And they were screwing with me, and I'm like, "Screw you guys, I'll do it." And they're like, "What?" So I did it. I dropped in. I fell forward and proceeded to break my wrist into a million pieces, dropping in on 13 feet of vert. I won the bet. So, me personally, send it, dude. Let's go. No time for this. That was me as a kid. That's still me to an extent now. That doesn't bother me. As long as I understand and know the risks involved, Like, I'm personally not very risk adverse. I've gotten, like, there was a time after that where I, feared failing just like everybody else. So by the time I was out of high school, I was afraid of failure. I was like, oh gosh, I can't fail at everything. If I'm going to go get a job, I need to make sure that I get my dream job first. I want to get a job in the degree that I got, and I want to be the best at that. That's not how that works. Yeah, that's not how that works at all. And that didn't get me anywhere. Didn't get me anywhere at all. And then the second I kind of flipped back to 15-year-old, 16-year-old EJ, I didn't give a crap about failing, whatever. I failed classes all the time. Stay in school, kids. that's the second I stopped fearing things, the second I started being successful. You know, like if anybody here is, you know, ever thought about streaming or ever tried to stream, hitting that start button and, you know, the realization that people are just there watching you can really screw with your head. But when I started streaming, I decided that I wasn't going to let that bother me. So I didn't, and I still don't. Doesn't bother me at all. And pick my nose right here on stream. I don't care. Doesn't bother me. It really doesn't bother me. I just, there's no anxiety there. There's nothing. It's just there. I just exist. It always feels like somebody's DMCAing me. Simmers will never even know if they're wearing pants. Yeah, Blasty, I mean, some people probably are concerned with that. I'm not. I frankly don't give a crap. Like, that's just the reality. I just don't care. There's no anxiety there. There's nothing. And that comes from years of just driving it in my head that you can't be afraid of failure. I mean, Taradra, you're the same way. You're not afraid. You got to be able to put yourself out there. You can't put yourself out there, you're not going to be successful. And that just feeds into failure, being risk adverse. You know? Like, we want to go out. You want the glory of putting another American flag on the moon? Going to have to take some risks. I hope we're prepared to do it. I think we are. Pink, it doesn't, that thought doesn't bother me. I don't have stage fright. I don't care. It really doesn't bother me. It probably at some point did. Don't care. I blame years of working retail and then streaming on top of that. I mean, I'll go up in front of the crowd. I don't care. I don't care. I really don't. Okay. What do we got here? Let's see what NSF is up to.
Meeting of some kind.
Well, the rocket's still in there. Hey, if you're just joining us over from a Burke stream, hey Burke, how you doing? Thank you for stopping by. We are standing by. We've got a camera live. The voice you hear here is Chris Gebhardt, Assistant Managing Editor for NASA Spaceflight, and he's there at the Cape Canaveral Kennedy Space Center operating this live stream camera. We're waiting for this massive rocket stage to come off the barge that transported it from the place where it was last tested down here to the Cape so that they can start putting in the VAB, the big NASA building where they put the rockets together and launch this thing. But we're not waiting for a launch today. We are not expecting this to fly anywhere. We're expecting them to,
if it's flying,
slowly
something
and
has gone
methodically
wrong.
roll this massive rocket stage. You can see 2 of the 4 engines with the red covers there. That's the back of the rocket. We're waiting for them to roll that off, and we've been live for almost 2 hours waiting for them to unload this rocket. That's what we do on my stream here.
we do indeed. In fact, we borrowed like Trevor's cord to like keep my phone going right now. Because I left mine in my car and it's 5 stories down and requires an escort.
Oh, jeez.
Which I'll have to go get at some point. But yeah, you know, you were saying we're not expecting it to fly, and I just have to say jokingly, like, yes, if it goes airborne today, something terrible has happened.
Something terrible.
Chris,
has
that's my
happened.
joke.
Exactly.
But,
well,
more vehicles are approaching actually. So more good indications that things are continuing to move in the correct direction. And
okay.
You know, I know we've said it earlier, Das, but I think it's worth repeating. Like, because this isn't a launch.
I don't think NASA TV is covering this, drummer. It's their own fault. They should.
Now 500 feet to the vehicle assembly building.
right.
You know, basically the goal is be in the big building by sundown.
Is it only a certain time of season that they convert at the port for like 45 minutes to an hour? No, not in the turning basin. Black. No. They can sit there as long as they want. It's not like Vandenberg, which faces the ocean. This is inland by about 2 to 3 miles, believe it or not. The ocean is 2.5, actually pretty much 3 miles that way. If miles don't mean anything, the ocean's 5 kilometers that way.
In fact, I'm going to zoom out a little bit more because you can see some of those new.
Because of the rising tide, it's a river. The turning basin. The turning basin is connected to a river. It's not really, and it's behind locks. It's not really susceptible to tides, believe it or not. Is this a rocket to the moon? Yes. Eventually. Oh, there's the tug. Oh, baby.
Well,
here we go.
To tow some things. Yeah, they have to drive it.
says NASA on the side of it, and it's backing up.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is one of those. Yeah.
I mean,
Huh.
Hanyu, if you
It
haven't
literally
seen
looks
this
like a little
thing,
airport tug, like one of those low
70
center of
meters.
mass, big tire. I'm gonna move
70
something a lot bigger
meters.
than
The
me
thing
sort
is
of thing.
huge. It's
Yeah. Well, and it's
freaking
going towards a thing
gigantic.
That's much bigger than it. So.
Interesting. Now, see,
Yeah.
I
70
thought this was
meters
on an
by
SPMT, so I figured it
8.4.
would
The
just
thing is
roll out on its
freaking
own,
massive.
but maybe
It is a
that-
massive rocket.
I
Look at it
think-
over there.
So
Thing's
I have to go back
gigantic.
and watch the video.
Hey, White, what up, brother?
But,
Tug driver was late today?
thing.
No way.
But I don't know.
Don't screw that. I don't know if you're serious, man. Did you even sleep?
Well, I'm sure we'll.
Here for the,
Yes. Hi, Brimo. The Brimo, that's Liz.
I would hope he was sleeping. Daytona until 2 a.m. or something.
Not as tall as my house, though.
But
Oh my gosh. I know.
Maybe-
It was fun passing off the equipment to him and like handing him the key to like the shed, going like, okay, when you get here at 1 and I'm asleep, put it in there and then lock it. You know. For like how we were gonna.
I'm tired,
how we
guys.
were
I'm not
try
gonna
to
lie to you. I'm pretty tired. I might be a little late for the stream today. I'm not gonna lie to you.
We'll see if they're actually gonna tow that thing out of there with that little airport handler looking tug.
Why is the
thing.
stage even there?
I-
It was
If
built.
I
Why is the stage even there? It was built in some kind of factory, right? Exino, this stage was manufactured at NASA's Michoud Assembly Facility in Louisiana. That's by New Orleans. It was tested in Mississippi at the Stennis Space Center, and now it's here at Kennedy Space Center where it will fly into space a little later this year. The factory that built it is about 1,100 miles that way. Well, that way, because we're facing east right now. 1,100 miles that way. Or about 1,800 kilometers. Yes, we measured. This is basically delivery to the launch site so they can launch it into space, dude. Fair, I was just wondering. I mean, Exino, this is NASA's moon rocket. This is part of this rocket will help. Now, this one isn't going to launch people on it, but later versions of this rocket will be used to send people to the moon. That's not like, oh, we might do. No, that's on the books. That's going to happen. November of this year, Karevik. I miss government work. 60 guys watching 2 guys do the work. Oh, White, how you doing, brother? Everything good? It looks like they're hooking up the tow hitch, man.
Catlin Gray, how are you doing? 200 rubles saying, hey guys, thanks for covering this event. We appreciate you.
Yeah, doing okay. How about yourself? I'm alright, man. How's the kids? Everything good, dude? Are you having them frosty nougats on me down there? Or what? Yeah, Rodclav, now it's all the same. It's all the same nonsense. Good, good? Good, man. It's good to hear. Hey, Evil Rays. Thank you for the raid. I think all these workers that are sitting around over here aren't working on moving it. I think they're workers that want to be there because they want to see the core stage up close. I'm pretty sure. No nugs recently? Oh. It's a shame, man. It's a shame. Hey, dude, what are you up to this early in the morning? They're going to offload the SLS core stage into the VAB. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
Oh, geez. He never got in a kayak in the turn base, and that's how.
There we go. But that's how A, not B, C through F. Yes.
There you go.
I like that joke.
I hope so, Blinga.
Here's one for you, Chris. They've always wondered why is
hang on, there's more coming. Hang on, I'm going to zoom out real quick.
Okay. More vehicles.
They're prepping some of the area over by the PAB too. So hang on. And I will readjust. Let me get it in view, and then I'll adjust. For you.
Okay, that's the launch control
Okay.
center there. Those are some cars.
And see, a lot of the times, folks, when we
Yeah,
roll
birds.
multiple cameras, you don't see us. Oh, look at that.
Yeah, right. Another one of the little
Yeah,
transformers.
right. This is a little it's just a flat platform. Hey, Snakes, what's up?
Yeah.
2 hours
I've seen
later.
so many of those things roll around.
Lots
Boca
of trucks.
Chica.
It's
That
Florida,
looks like
my
a tiny
pick.
model.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Because the guy walking behind the one in Boca, because they do this, they have the controller in that guy's hand, and he's just walking beside it, driving it down the
Florida,
road.
man.
And you see this at Boca Chica,
It's the
but they're
home of
like
the
10 times
Brodozer.
bigger. And that literally
What is that platform
looks
for?
like a scale model of a transporter. No, they're segmented, of course.
I have no
So
idea.
It looks tiny.
Ian?
I mean, but considering the size of this core stage, I'm intrigued as to what this is going to get.
Make sure it's
what are
fed
they
and,
doing
and
with
walk
that?
in every morning.
I mean, we'll see where they turn.
See?
There's
Look
a
at
little
look
bit
at all
of
the
part
Brodozers. They're everywhere.
be ready
Look at all of them. There's
but I
3
don't
of
know.
them just in those spaces.
This will
Oh,
be
Just
interesting.
Brodozers.
Do they need some more mass?
Look,
on
there's
the
another
thing,
one.
or They're trying to level. So why would you be? This is not going to
I
carry. the
freaking
core
love
stage.
Florida. What a great state.
No,
So
to be fair,
good.
the core stage is already on its transport.
Those guys are bringing you your lunch? Hell yeah. Oh, yo, someone's got a Lincoln Continental over there. Nice. Oh, MX-5, mates. MX-5s, mate. Look at Brodozer. Look at all the... Oh, God, I love Florida. There's pickup trucks everywhere.
Like I said, this looks like a 5-year-old's dream job, using this
There's
massive
fucking
RC
trucks
car
everywhere.
driving it down the road.
No, it looks like they're just taking it for a walk.
Nobody knows the
They're
rednecks
taking
build
it for a
rockets.
walk. I mean,
It's
it's
so
on a
true,
leash.
dude. I
think
freaking love
has
it.
like a little umbilical.
Little cable leash.
Is this a wireless one? I know they have both types.
As a
but,
truck owner myself,
you can see the worker there with the neck
I
strap, and he's
empathize.
holding the controller, just telling it to go forward.
Bird,
That'll be
bird,
interesting to see where
bird,
it
bird, dodge. Nice. Is that Lego? It's a kind of. Oh, sick. Scat Pack Challenger. Yeah, boy. I think it's a Scat Pack. I couldn't see the logo on the side. Jep,
Yes, this is a good question.
that one's a Ferd right there. You can tell from the logo on the back. It ain't a Shelby.
I'll start with the last one.
I don't know, Kyron. Maybe.
They're actually-
BRB moving to Florida.
It is within the perimeter of 39 feet.
I mean, my pick. You know, Florida has very long, very straight roads that are all. They don't. It doesn't snow, so it's not like there's cracks in the roads. Just very long, very straight, very smooth roads. That's all I'm saying. And cops everywhere. Don't. Yeah, but don't say that part. Yo, 240. See, NASA, man. They know what's good, dude. Guy has a freaking 92 240 SX over there. Hell yeah.
Except
AP, where you at, dude?
built a clean pad, all the small set operators
Tell me, AP, tell me you're still here.
to SLS's schedule.
Yo,
Right.
that thing is
We have something
clean,
if we
dude. That's a
say,
clean.
when
Well,
we sign
it's like
contract
it's
permission in
totally
April
stock.
2023, we don't want NASA coming
What
in
is
and
this?
going, too bad.
That's sort of
Yeah.
the point with the small sats.
know.
It's like rapid, more rapid deployment. than
Look for me in the
larger
camera
rockets, where
shot,
it's okay, I want to
Bird.
do this on this date, etc.,
What,
right?
what is this?
Exactly.
What-
And
what
they
is
were-
this?
and when
Dude,
you
I'd rather
like
walk.
One organization that was willing to share pads.
The future is
That
now,
was
old
rough,
man.
and they were canceled.
What? Why
So
don't you
anyway,
just
the
walk?
last part of your question, there is a 39C. It exists. It's a baby. Nothing will ever fly from it, but it's
Sure.
there, and it's inside of Pat B.
Chris,
Um,
don't
So
don't normalize
30
Pad
the
39C.
39 number gets its name from like how the whole Cape Air Force side was built, right? Where basically as new launch pads came up, they just they just chose a number going up in numerical sequence and numerical ordering. So that's why you have like 11 and 16
Bird.
and 37 and 36
See that?
over on the Cape side.
See that, Euros?
And then you jump over.
That ain't no
north to
transit
Kennedy
van. That's a
side where you
Ford
have the 39
Econoline, the
complex,
bigger
because that
version
was
of
the
a
next one
transfer,
built. And then you
transit
jump
van.
back to the Cape side for 40 and 41.
Hey, Hydro, what's up, man?
And everything like that, because just in the planning stages,
Oh, Brian,
of
I
it,
know,
that's
I
just
know.
how it began to develop. And this whole area is actually called Complex 39, the vehicle assembly building where I am at over.
Yeah, see? Complex 39.
And then the
Like
pads
on the
just
screen.
have their A, B.
Dude, Mazda
designations.
Speed.
But this whole
Mazda
area is
Speed.
actually considered the 39
compact.
Nice. Mazda Speed 3. Hell
But
yeah.
that
Fast.
is,
Very
Yeah,
fast.
so the pads, if you look at them on Google Earth, like it's 39B, 39A, 41, 40, 37, 36, you know, and on down. They don't, and 48 is between 39 and 41. It's just kind of where you find space for them. So like the pads don't go in numerical.
Now, is there
or
rules that
anything
stop
like
them from sitting on that while moving? There's, I mean, probably.
Why
Yeah.
wasn't it like? I don't understand why it was.
White, I friggin' miss the days of driving down the road and suddenly a rocket stage has you pull over to the side of the road to pass. Yeah, man. I mean, you beezed out for greener pastures, though, I'd say, don't you think? I mean, Rob Clabb, two things. One, you wouldn't see the... You know, with NASA, it's everything here is by the book, all right? You don't want to screw around with this stuff, especially with how testing, you know, last thing they need is the SLS. Some guy hurt himself on the SLS program. And it just gives everybody a reason to bash SLS even more, which is just a crock of crap. The second part is that with SpaceX, you guys see, I mean, you see the guys sitting on the modular transporters at SpaceX, they sit on it. So they just sit on the thing and they're just sitting on a bucket on the thing, just yeeting it down the road, right? And yeah, that's fine. So two things there. It's SpaceX, but most importantly, it's Texas. They don't care. They don't give a crap. It's Texas. It's frigging Texas. They're not gonna. They'd be like, oh, it's not safe if you sit up there. They're gonna be like, get the hell away from me. Get your head away from me right now. What is that? Burb. Burbs don't exist.
Now they stopped. What did they do?
An unimpressed osprey is
Unimpressed
Washington. But yeah, because there was.
That's electric, guys. That thing is electric powered.
But NASA wanted to build 37B first for Apollo testing, and then 37.
Yeah, it's a B1RD right there.
There's no A, but there's a B.
So maybe it makes sense that the VAB is like the building that services Complex 39, and
Exactly.
there are two pads that the VAB services, A and B, and then when you go to the other pads, you have one building that services 41, and you have one building that services 37, and then SpaceX had to go and break everything because they have the HIF, but it services both 40 and 39A. Just
But-
never
Well,
staying
but
in line, are they?
At Slick 36,
I wouldn't include the HIFs in that.
Okay.
Just because like the HIF at 39A really doesn't service things at 40. Sometimes they just store boosters there
They just
until
store
they're ready
boosters.
to bring them over.
Okay.
But like the pre-launch processing still has to take place in the HIF at 40,
At
and
40.
the HIF at 39A is the missions launching from there.
Chris
but
is right,
you're
as per
exactly
usual.
right. And like if they ever did, like
See, the
mentioning
Ospreys are just
things
watching
actually
them.
busier here, if they ever did actually want to build 37A, they could.
Yeah. Oh, there's
They-
a
they
Osprey too on top of that pole.
one move. It should be
Yes.
soon,
I
Bree.
think it might be the same one that just moved.
Oh, it just moved. It wanted to follow the little transporter up.
It got mad and flapped its wings. I think it flew to the other pole, but I'm not quite sure.
And is the core stage?
Yeah,
not
the
out,
Eagles
right?
Nest is
Have you
down
kept
Kennedy
an eye on that?
Parkway, White. I know.
Yeah, I'm keeping an eye on it. Yeah. it
Okay,
hasn't
cool.
moved yet. Yeah, we're not gonna pan and go. Oh, it's out.
Suddenly, like, thanks for watching.
I know, Capcom, right?
Go walk a transporter and miss the course stage. No, I'll
Matthew
go a
Duggar-
little wider because you can see them in the same frame now.
Yeah. Matthew Duggar came through with the super chat saying roll lifts in disguise. Nice. And there you can see sort of the scale of that little wee baby transporter versus the scale of the entire rocket. You can tell the rocket is not going to fit on that little
Longest
thing.
space news ever.
Interesting to see why that thing's going that way.
Weighs like 800 pounds. America.
They need to bring out the SPMT chair. At
Can we
Pocono
fast
Studio,
forward?
In the past, I think until they got caught, we saw them riding on
Nope.
Home Depot buckets or lawn chairs instead of walking along behind those things. I don't think you're supposed to do that, though.
I wonder where this camera is. Chris G is sitting on top of the balcony at OSB2, White. Why's the guy walking by the platform instead of sitting on it? I don't know. Maybe he feels like walking. Who knows? Oh, that was 2 ospreys. Look. See? There's 2 of them. There's one on the nest is over there, and this one's watching. That's cool, man. I mean, a lot of folks don't know that Kennedy Space Center is built on the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge. So, as White was saying, there's a bald eagle's nest down the road. It's down Kennedy Parkway. About a quarter mile down the road from the VAB going south, there's a damn eagle's nest. Dude, it's a real bald eagle. It's so cool. You see all kinds of crazy burbs around here. Why on earth was that platform not pre-positioned? Kyron, you and I both know the answer. Don't fail fish me. You know the answer, I know the answer, everybody knows the answer. Just shh. Late, Blackbird. I haven't slept, but dude, they're gonna move out SLS's core stage, man. I don't want to miss this. The problem is the equipment that they're using to move it freaking moves at a snail's pace, for Christ's sake. Burbs.
Area awesome.
There
Oh,
is
look
a
at the
baby in
look
that
at the
nest.
baby.
There
I'm the
is.
baby.
Yes, you can see.
Look at the baby. I'm the
I don't know
baby.
if you could focus the camera a little bit, but that osprey is feeding a baby in that
That's
nest,
cool.
It looks like.
Look at that.
We're watching now.
This is now a bird watching stream.
I'm looking into the sun at the viewfinder. Is
Yeah.
that focus well?
Oh, that's
Yeah,
actually
that
pretty
looks good,
cool.
That looks good.
WD-40 would. Oh man, where's
There
WD-40? He would love this. I'm the
There
baby.
is a I
I'm
mean,
just a
it-
baby.
It looks to me like a baby. It's not a full-size bird. That's just a big baby. It looks like.
I'm the baby.
Oh,
You see it?
I see it now. Oh, I thought that was a twig. Apart from that.
Well, chat was mentioning it. It looked like the bird was.
All right,
feeding a
Beagle Rays.
baby
Hey,
or
thanks for
something
the
like
raid,
that,
buddy.
So we zoomed in really quickly.
I'm
But
sorry, I
again,
should have
the
talked
Kennedy
with you
Space
more
Center
about what
is
were you
a
playing, dude.
wildlife
If you're looking from
refuge.
work, you gotta go.
Wildlife
It's fine. We'll
refuge.
talk about it
It is
later.
indeed. It is
But
on
thank you for
the
the raid, man. I do appreciate it.
Yes,
Wood, what's going on, man?
Right there, we're unloading a rocket stage in the background, and with the bird is.
Oh
being
look, it's
big
moved
as
30
it is.
feet.
See,
Sorry.
that's what it says. No. This is what I love. I mean, it explains why the osprey was so concerned when it drove by. Wonder what it's going to do when the core stage comes by.
Oh yeah, the bird's gonna freak out when the orange rocket pops out.
This is an excellent point because, yeah, we're on the Kennedy Space Center is on the Merritt Island Wildlife Refuge.
I already said that. Damn it, Chris.
Significant requirements for building out here. If you want to do that, a lot
Discovery,
of
go at throttle.
Bird.
because one thing above all that we try to do with our space centers and spaceports here in the United States is because they require huge swaths of land that are, away from the public. We try as much as possible to turn them into preserves. And they just sort of act as
He's not wrong. How was the Vega launch? It was great, man. Vega was good. Long March 5B performed great, and then Falcon 9 performed excellent. Is NASA the annoying neighbor? No, Galati. There's nobody out there. Actually, Chris was talking about like living off the land and finding symbiosis with your land. If you look, you see some curved roof buildings over there. That is like a zero. It's a net carbon neutral building over there. If you see those curved buildings, that's a project that NASA was working on it actually at KSC. See them over there? You could just barely see them at the top of the screen. The building with the curved roof. It has solar panels on the roof, but that's a net zero emissions building that NASA is messing with over there. Just on a side note, yeah, not a lot of people know what the hell that is. There's a net zero carbon emissions building over there, which is pretty cool. NASA's been working on that for a while. And a lot of KSC has solar panels. A lot of KSC is solar powered because who knew? My sunshine state. Why the curved roofs? I'm sure there's a good reason. I think it collects the heat inside and it uses that energy for something. It's like a heat scavenging system. I've only read about it, and I've only been told about it like once or twice. I forget why they're built like that, but I'm sure there's a reason. I thought this thing on the right was a building, but it's a boat, right? It's a barge, actually. Here. Oh, well, there's pictures right there. Yeah, it's a barge. See? It's a big barge. And it actually is a barge. Even though the thing has a bridge, it has to be moved by tugs. It has no propulsion system on it. Have you slept? Yeah, they gotta pull it around with tugs. It's a big barge, guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, there's the tugs, the shallow water tugs pulling it. That's in the turning basin right there. Hey, Cairo, I'm still here. Yep. There's them mooring it at the turning basin, which is what we're looking at right there. There's Noguchi-san. Well, it's just pictures from inside Dragon. And then there's pictures of Victor being an absolute Chad. Okay. Okay, so see where these people are standing? The operations and support building right here, OSB, where they had the NASA communications woman out there talking to different people. That's where Chris is right now. Chris is standing on the OSB roof. That barge would make a nice houseboat. Cavaliers, that'd be a sweet houseboat. You could moor it up to something and use it as a big garage. Uh-oh. Where was this thing built then? I thought you'd never ask. You're looking at it. Right there is where this thing was made. Michoud Assembly Facility in Louisiana. They make big things. I don't know if you guys could tell they make rockets here. You could tell they make rockets here, guys, because of the way it is. So this is down by New Orleans, Louisiana. See, New Orleans is right there. Michoud is right there. And then they tow the thing out a canal. Well, they tow the thing up a canal this way. And then they tested this SLS core stage at Stennis. They tow it up the canal, up the river. And that one was right here. And that's where they did the green run test. And then... And then they went over here. And then they brought it in through Port Canaveral, where SpaceX tows their Falcon 9 stages in. They went past the mooring points here at Port Canaveral. Here, let me get you that picture. No, not that one. Let's go with that one. Yeah, see that one right there? Yeah, they towed it past all this. There was actually a booster from the Crew 1 mission. A booster from the Crew 1 mission was being taken off of the drone ship while the SLS core stage was going by. My buddy Kyle has a picture of that if you guys want to see it. Kyle is a launch photographer down there, and he pops in the stream from time to time. But he has freaking, my guy has a picture of the of them towing this sucker past the Falcon 9. Crew 1, yeah, Crew 2, that too, as well. Was that Saturn stage brought in on the same barge by chance? Pegasus? I'm not sure, Drummer, I don't know. Hey, B2, yes. Good taste. What facility was it that it had to go up the Ohio River then back down to the Gulf? Well, that's ULA. That's in Decatur, Alabama. Yeah, ULA has to go up the Ohio River, find the Mississippi River, and then go down. They actually have to go north to go south. But that, yeah, that's ULA. This is different. This is Michoud. Michoud is a much bigger facility. Best taste. I mean, yeah, White. So, right when COVID came around, dude, I mean, my buddy Erebors took this, but, so they did like a thing where they flew around, for COVID, right? They started in Boston and they went to like New York and they went to Washington, D.C. as kind of like a cool thing, right? There was a B-2 with some F-22s escorting it, and then there was a B-1 right behind it with, I forget, I think F-16s. If we go into my media, it's probably here somewhere. Trains, yeah, here we go. Yeah, actually, it was a B-1 with F-22s as well. And then there was a B-52 behind it, which is pretty dope. See? Got a picture of that same thing, man. I like that the only things we agree on are planes, nugs, shuttles, and nothing else. Sure, man. Ugh, stretching my back. I mean, B-2s are only the chattiest plane of all Chad planes around, White. What's that little transporter going to move anyway? You know what, Owens? I really don't know, dude. I have no idea. I've never seen this done before, to be honest with you. We could look at other pictures of them moving that core stage around. Hold on. But there's got to be some pictures around somewhere. Let's see. Let's see how they transport these things. See if we can find a picture of them moving that core stage around. Nice. GMA. Yeah, Deepak. Sorry about that.
All right, folks, and
Hi,
we're
Das.
back. As you may have noticed, we were talking through some camera settings there. We still had the camera set in a manual mode for the night launches.
Well, here's them
which we
moving
did
around
with
the
Starlink launch
tanks.
last night, and we were just switching a couple settings around.
It looks
to,
like they wheel it
make
underneath
that a
these
little bit
jigs
better
to
here
move it
during
around.
the day, especially with the sun coming up in the background of the shot here. So Chris is going.
Oh, it's probably not
to
on
be back
casters,
in just a moment.
Owens?
Chris, I don't know if you
I'm
can
not
hear
sure.
me right now, but when you walked away, did the camera get turned, or was that intentional? I hope Chris can still hear me, because he was going to.
Hey, Erebors. Nice. Yeah. Erebors has some, pretty bomb friggin' pictures here, if I do say so myself. Oh, hell yeah. Yeah. I like that one. Okay, so it was a B2 with F-22s, and then it was a B1 with F-35s, and then there was the buff, the freaking buff, dude. Oh, the buff. Oh, that's, dude, look at that freaking plane, man. That plane is nuts. Yeah, Airborne's White Thunder. White does some things. He does advanced frosty nugget testing, meaning that he goes out to Palmdale, California. He finds the closest Chick-fil-A, and then he goes and gets a frosty from Wendy's, and he does advanced nugget dipping out there. I did say frosty
All right,
nuggets.
I've got messages to Chris every way that I can get messages to. Actually, no, I got one.
The
more.
most advanced frosty
Just to make
nugs
sure,
in the
'cause
world.
If they start moving that thing when he is picking up the cable, and
That's right, dog.
this is the shot, that's not going to be ideal. I'm going to try to make sure we get that handled here real quick.
Miller Time knows. Flight deck. Oh, what is? Yep. Okay.
Discovery,
Still
go
my
and throttle
favorite
up.
picture. You just crudely pasted my face over yours. Hey, P2K. 8-month resub.
Okay, all right, I think you got the messages. There we go.
I'm back.
Man, look at that nice old
Okay.
furred Super Duty
Okay,
over
good.
there. I tell you what, I like
when
that
you
truck
walked
there,
away,
boy.
I think the camera sort of started to drift off to one side. I wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I came back and I was like, well, that's not how I left it.
Like literally, as you walked away, the camera like very slowly started to turn to one side, and I started panicking. So
It was just having its depressive slump to the right, you know.
okay, all of the emergency messages I just sent you in every method that I had to get in touch with you, they're handled now. So thank you. Did you get the
Okay,
cable you
you're
need?
welcome.
Or,
Sorry, what?
oh, did you get the cable you need, or are you going again?
Oh, I got the yeah.
Okay.
I didn't see any of your I didn't see any of your messages actually. I just got back and went, well, that's not how I left it. And
Okay,
immediately corrected
good.
it. Yes. Oh no, because I had to leave my phone here because it's connected to the rig.
You
and
left
everything.
your phone here. Ah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, good deal. Hey, Wolf Stroganoff, thanks for the super chat there. To Curly L saying, do love a good bird watching stream. It'll be interesting to see what the Ospreys do, because I think they're going to... Chris, are they going to roll the core stage like through those cones? Does it have to make that corner
Yes.
there?
Yep.
Yeah. So let me bump out a little bit here. And I'll zoom down so we don't have that horrible skyline. But yeah, so that little S-curve that you see in the pavement is where they're going to drive it. Now,
So
one thing that we do...
Hydro, what's my
No,
opinion on Jim being replaced as NASA admin? It happens when presidents change. It's not anything personal, dude. Bill Nelson is pretty much all but confirmed. We didn't even get to that in Space News yesterday. Yeah, I don't mind Bill. I'll be honest with you. I really don't. I don't mind him. You know why? Because he said canceling Constellation was dumb. As an Ares 1 fan, we have to be friends. It's kind of inevitable. He said it in 2011, Fractal. Yeah. Where's my Ares 1 fans? Ares 1 gang. Ares 1 gang. Ares 1 gang. There you go, Za.
You're first, I guess, or top.
Yeah, he said it in 2011. Actually, he was one of the people that, believe it or not, fought against Constellation getting canceled like as hard as he could. Yeah, funny how that works.
So y'all, again, we're still waiting for the core stage.
On a total side note, I've decided to pull the engine in the Beetle. The pushrod tubes, generator intake manifold clutch remain sealed, doing it all. It's not that bad. It's an easy motor to work on. Yo, Miller, when you work on the generator, make sure to shim it. You gotta shim the stupid thing or else it'll squeak like crazy. Shim the generator. Other than that, yeah, it's not that bad to work on. Easy engine. Miller, I just got a bunch of wire spools in of all different colors so I can complete the wire harness. Some of the cables that I have aren't long enough. And some of the cables that I have were coincidentally too long, but yeah. Instead of cutting and splices all kinds of stuff, I'm just gonna, I bought 10 spools of 10 different colors of wire in 16 gauge for like all the accessories and stuff so we could wire it up. Ciao, Sushio, come stai? Remo, Miller has the kind you like. I wish the camera could find one or two guys actually working. Oh, savage. You guys are freaking ruthless, dude. Yeah. I'm really starting to hit the end of my rope. Super tired. Can we steal Miller's Beetle? No, we don't need to do that. Can you explain shortly what they're doing today? Sure, Jim. Yeah, no problem. They're going to take this here rocket. They're going to roll it out here in a moment. And they're going to roll it into the VAB to put it together. So NASA's Vehicle Assembly Building is over here on the left. I'll give you a Google Earth view of it. Early hours KSP then. I'm going to sleep very soon, Ando, regardless if this thing moves or not. So there's NASA's Vehicle Assembly Building. This is where NASA builds their big rockets. Okay. On this side of the Vehicle Assembly Building, there's a big frigging door. A big door. That door is the entrance to what's called the transfer aisle. The transfer aisle is where they take the big rocket stages and they move it into a staging area right here, where they could move it into one of 4 high bays where they build rockets. Now, that core that you just saw is going into high bay 3 because that's where the launcher for it is, and that's where they're going to stack it. Now, the rocket's currently sitting on a barge that's attached right here. The barge is called Pegasus. Pegasus is used to transport the SLS core stage. So the planned move today is taking the rocket out here, going down here, going down here, going across the street, going over here, and then rolling it into the VAB. That's the planned move. Now, on any other occasion, I wouldn't really care. Wouldn't really cover it. But this is the first time it's ever happened. SLS is a brand new rocket. It's a brand new rocket for NASA. NASA's only built 4 rockets or 3 rockets prior inside of this VAB ever. The Space Shuttle, Saturn 1B, and Saturn 5.
Discovery.
This is the 4th rocket that NASA will build inside of the VAB. So it's not every day that you see a new rocket get moved into the VAB. That's why I'm up. Because this is a red letter day. It's the first time it's ever happened. You're never gonna see the first SLS being moved into the VAB ever again after today. You know what I'm saying? So this is a big deal. What's up with SLS? Isn't that Jupiter 4? Yes. Sure, no problem, Jim. Yurovich, 25-month resub. Next time you guys come to New York, hit me up. Miller, I know I've asked before. You're upstate, right? All the shims are on the front of the pulley. Hopefully they're still there with the rear vent. Yeah, there you go. Did she say thank you to you, Flight Sim? Brimo, Flight Sim wished you happy birthday. It's all good, too early. I mean, Brimo just woke up too. I may have woken her up. Sorry. Let's just pony up and call it Ares 4. I'll take Ares 4. That's fine. One move, soon. Like a decade ago, did you ever play Rome Total War? No. King, in terms of games like that, I played StarCraft. And StarCraft Brood War, and StarCraft 2 Wings of Liberty. That's actually what introduced me to Twitch, believe it or not. Hey Tungu, can you explain why China's building a separate space station? Can you explain why China's building a separate space station? I mean, how complicated of an answer do you want, Tungu? We don't allow them on the ISS because the Chinese have shown in the past that they take, like, if you work on something with them. Okay, so the Chinese have shown that if you work on something with them, they'll basically just take the tech and they'll steal it from you and they'll use it for weapons that are designed to kill you. Now, that's not speculation. That crap actually happened. All right? Rewind to 1997. And this isn't out of some paranoid fear, some stupid xenophobia or whatever, because I keep hearing people peddle that nonsense and it kind of pisses me off. All right. Rewind to 1997. The U.S. and China said, hey, we want to work with you on doing stuff in space. The U.S. said, sure, why not? All right, cool. So they authorized a Western satellite to be launched on a Long March 3. Okay? The Chinese worked with the Americans, right? You know, worked with them. Everything went well. They went to launch the rocket. One of the side boosters didn't ignite. It took off the pad, did a U-turn, and went right into a village. After that happened, the Chinese promptly took all the American engineers, put them on a bus to the airport, and sent them home. Never heard a word about it ever again. After that, we found that the Chinese had taken the guidance system that we used to integrate with the satellite for the payload, and that found its way into their weapon systems. That found its way into their ICBM tech. Oh, just happens to be the exact same thing, huh? So we banned China from in the early 2000s. We basically said, screw you guys, we're not doing anything with you. And then China, anyway, in the late 2000s, asked if they, hey, can we be part of the ISS? And we said, hell no, screw you. No, get out of our face. And China said, fine, screw you, I'll do it myself. So, there you go. Wouldn't SLS be the 5th rocket, given Ares 1X? I don't know, maybe. They launched a core module for a new space station, Nikita. I wish we as a species could settle aside our difference. It's never going to happen, Flight Sim. It's never going to happen. Humans don't work that way, and you know it. Don't be stupid. There's always going to be one guy that whines about a free lunch. We are basically designed not to get along with each other, all right? But that doesn't mean we can't respect each other. You know what I mean? So that's why China's banned from the ISS? Oh, yeah. Nuggets, it wasn't just out of some paranoia that they're going to steal stuff. We caught them stealing ICBM tech. Hello? Like, I don't try to, I'm trying to bring this stuff up, dude, because it's messed up, but that's what happened. I mean, there's also that, Kyron, amongst other things. I can't speak to that, but I know why we don't work with them with spaceflight stuff, because they steal your stuff. And then they use it on weapon systems that are designed to kill you. Now, why the hell would we participate in that? Starfleet is just a cult. What about Russia? The Russians have their own tech. They don't. They have their own stuff, dude. They were smart enough to engineer it themselves, because we butted heads during the Cold War. Yeah, Balxy, I also have a pretty big problem with that. Yeah, it's pretty messed up. You still following F1? Sure. Whose opinion on winning the championship this year? Lewis. Lewis is gonna win it. Red Bull? Oh man. That's very optimistic of you. Wrong? I mean, White, I would never be happier to be proven wrong. I friggin' hate Mercedes, man. I hate Mercedes, dude. I can't stand those guys. Stop. All right, screw you. I get it. You're good at this. All right, piss off. Let somebody. Can we actually have a competitive race for once? I don't like watching Formula One races to see who comes in best to second place. Oh, great, you came in second. Oh, the midfield fight has been really good. If you ain't first, you're last. Wait, so they're gonna do? On the station is gonna be all secret? No, the station is open for international cooperation, Tungu. Yeah, anybody can join it if they want to. Whatever that means. Yeah, that's what I mean, maybe. Alright, I gotta go to work. Love you. Alright, White. It's good to see you, man. Be good, bro. Tell the family I said hi, okay? You guys know the reason why I respect the Russian space program so much? Because they cut their teeth doing the same stuff that we were cutting their teeth. They've paid for their spaceflight knowledge in blood, just like we have. Alright? They paid for it. They paid for it with blood of their own citizens, just like we have. Soyuz 11, Soyuz 1, Apollo 1, Challenger, Columbia. They paid for it in blood, just like we have. They cut their teeth on making rocket engines. They made their own rocket designs. They made their own redundant engineering. They get it. That's why they have my respect so much. Nobody else has done that. Nobody else has paid for the safety of space flight with blood of their own citizens, aside from us and Russia, and then, you know, the different mixed crews from the shuttles, but you get the idea. Gudra, have you had any sleep? No. That's why I respect the Russian program so much. They paid their damn dues, alright? Those guys, that whole program has a lot of my respect. Absolutely. They also showed respect to Saturn. Game recognized game, Owens. Hope you had a good rest since your last stream. No, Josh, yeah, I sat down and made myself some food and then figured out the core stage was moving today, and then I turned the stream right back on. Spoon, they figured it out, though. That's the thing. Any idiot can steal a freaking ICBM. It takes balls and it takes brains to freaking reverse engineer it into your own design, and then be confident enough in that to put somebody on top of it and then launch it into space. All right? That's why they have my respect. They didn't get the Chinese got handed Russian technology. Europeans, I don't know. I mean, no, the French designed their own stuff. I know they designed their own stuff because I know French people. They don't want to use anybody else but their own. They don't want to use anybody else's stuff but their own. That's how French people work. You know how I know? Because that's how Americans work. We're two sides of the same stupid coin. Any French people here? You gonna refute that one? Nope. The French had derived their first rocket from the German rockets. That's right, Seg. So did we. Our Redstone missiles are just a bigger version of a V2. All right, Sergei Korolev designed the R7 based off of what he learned from stealing V2s from the Nazis. That's fine, but the thing that nobody understands is that von Braun's work on the aggregate missile, the V2, is based off of an American's work. It's based off of Robert Goddard, an American from my neck of the woods in the United States. Not everybody knows that. Everybody loves to tell this, you know, oh man, we copied the Germans' tech. We copied the Germans. The Germans run NASA. Blah blah. Yeah. All their work is based off of an American's. You're welcome. An American invented the first liquid fuel rocket engine. Go look it up. And von Braun copied his design. Hey, that's not true. The USA used the Merlin engine. Yeah, because we needed to. And Europe invented America? That's a weird way of putting that, but sure. That's a weird way of saying that, K3, but alright. If that's what you want to call that, sure. That's right, Boxy. That's a weird way of saying that, dude. I've never heard it put like that before. Let me put it that way. Here, K3, let me show you to the harbor. It's really great. You're going to love it. Into the harbor. Seg, let's not, dude. It's too early. Come on. Actually, the French helped us because they wanted to stick it to the British. That's the funny thing. Alright, guys, let's not get at each other's throats too much. We're just throwing shade. Remember that. It's just screwing around. Everybody's here for the same reason, because we all love space. Because space is cool, man, and it's for everybody, so. Alright. Come on. I want to see this thing move, baby. Okay, they're moving the crews out. Let's see what we got. Crews are moving away.
Wonder what all those people are doing.
A lot of people also just walking out of it, which I'm hoping is a good sign.
Yeah.
So the Boston Tea Party was just banter?
I just don't know. I don't know what... I'd love to know what they were waiting on.
Sure.
Clearly they have something that's going on that's the reason they're not moving it. And we just don't have insight into what that reason is right now.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know, like we said earlier, you know, like it's not something where they're not having to beat the clock. You know, the goal is just to be in the big vehicle.
It's all coming together, just space. That's right.
Earlier than that, but that's right.
Just get all the Ferds, dude. There's a Super Duty that's sitting behind that Chevy van over there. I could probably pull it.
It's not overly.
The Super Duty, yeah, it could probably do it. It's a dually. It could pull that thing.
First one, right?
I mean, how much do you think that thing weighs?
You would
£1,000,000
pounds? Maybe take some extra care.
Okay, the Super Duty might have some problems.
Yeah.
Never mind.
If there's anybody we could ask what the status is, Chris, that might be really helpful to get an update.
Let me mute myself and I will ask. Give me a second.
Cool. So y'all, again, Chris is actually out there. He's going to see if he can find a NASA public affairs rep to ask what is going on. They were thinking they were going to move this coming up on 3 hours ago, 5:30 a.m. Not quite, just over 2.5 hours now. And clearly they're doing something. They've got something that they are working on or fixing or something along those lines. Let's see if Chris will get that
The
update.
answer is basically nothing official. Nothing official. Could be a couple more hours before they move it, but nothing official.
Ah, okay. Gotcha.
But don't focus on that 2 hours. Focus on the nothing official.
Focus on the nothing.
Dude, I'm screwed. Oh my god, I am boned.
Grabbing some comments out of chat again. If you have
actually,
something like that,
go
Nugget.
ahead.
Have you ever heard of
I have an
sleep?
update for you. Emily Speck from our local Channel 6 station, our local CBS affiliate, is saying that she's down at the press site doing interviews with people, and she just tweeted that Jeremy Parsons, NASA Ground System Deputy Program Manager, says that the core stage move has been delayed because one of the transporters encountered an issue and needed a part replacement. And then exactly what I was just saying, other parts of the delay they are just making sure they're checking every box, dotting every I, crossing every T, because it's the first one. So, sounds like they hit a little technical snag, but also it sounds like it's also just being very careful with it.
Right. Okay.
So there we
we'll
go. Yeah. Little issue, but they're replacing it.
It's late, and I'm tired. Which one of you fucksocks said that they were going to scrub the move? Somebody said it 3 goddamn hours ago. Which one of you pieces of shit said it? 'Cause somebody here said it, and you frigging jinxed us, you asshole! You piece of shit! Flight Sim, why? Not like this. What the frick? How does the thing break? It's been standing still. I'm out. I'm going to bed, dude. I'm freaking going to sleep. Oh my god. Flight sim, you piece of crap. I'm sorry. I was like, nah, there's no way. All they gotta do is move it. No. Oh my god. Ban him. Alright. Guys, if you want to keep watching this, I really need to sleep because I have work. I have work today in a couple of hours, okay? So let's yeah, let's keep the thing going with DOS, and yeah, we'll raid DOS and we'll go from there. We'll keep the coverage going, and I'm going to bed. I'll see you guys in a all right, the stream starts in 4 hours. All right, it starts in 4 hours. That's not happening. I'll set my alarms, but that's not happening. It's not gonna happen. I'll try, but it's not gonna happen. Okay? I'll try for it, but it's more realistically gonna be 2, 3 o'clock, something like that.
Discovery, go at throttle up.
Flight sim, I'm only kidding, man. I'm only kidding. Jesus Christ, you need to give to freaking subs. Unbelievable. Alright. Anyway, I will see you guys sometime this afternoon, okay? So, it could be 4 hours, it could be 6, it could be 8. I'll be here. Eventually. Sleeping on a couch is worth 2 times the regular sleep. I've already gotten some sleep. I already slept for a little bit, so maybe. I don't know. I'll set the start time for noontime, but there's no guarantees on that. So go raid DOS. I'll go show him the raid. We'll go give him the raid, and then, yeah, hopefully they get this thing moved sometime soon. Knowing me, they're probably going to start